Welcome to the High School Sports Showcase event on Harford TV. We are at Harford Technical High School for the Hatem Track and Field Championships. I am Ray Hruz, and I am joined by my son, Travis Hruz. Travis, welcome to the meet.
Excited to be here, third year in a row, celebrating our track athletes. Let's have a good meet.
So, for those of you that do not know, this is the first year in this format. There is the Hatem Championships, there are the Susquehanna Championships, and I think the other one is the, I will find the name for that, the Tidings Division. So in this division, in the Hatem, Travis, Seamount Wright, Harford Tech, North Harford, Havre de Grace, and Edgewood. Probably today or tomorrow, the Tidings meet is happening between Bel Air, Patterson Mill, Falston, Aberdeen, and Joppatown. And the Susquehanna division is the 5 Cecil County teams: Bow Manor, Perryville, Northeast, Elkton, and Rising Sun. So they basically changed it from the Susquehanna and Chesapeake to 3 5-team divisions.
I like that move. Definitely helps being more redistricting for the buses. That helps with not making the athletes have to drive too far to and from the meets. And also to make sure we have an even playing field for the competition.
Well, and the nice thing about it also is with 3 entries per team, there's only 15 people in a race. It will be a quicker meet than a lot of championship meets, but for the folks to know, we still have the UCBACs next week. And the UCBACs, which you've been in before, are all 10 Harford County teams and the 5 Cecil County teams, and that's a 2-day meet. So for people like you that used to run the 2-mile, 4x8, it allowed the distance runners 2 days to run those events over, and that's a big factor.
Definitely. Recovery time is huge for these athletes. In track and field and individual sports, you always risk overuse injuries. So spreading out meets over a couple days can hopefully limit that so we can see our athletes participate and stay healthy as best they can.
So you see some of the pole vault girls warming up for their event. It's a really interesting event that I loved coaching, and I tried it once when I was in high school, and I did fairly well. And when I got way up in the air there, I said, I didn't like this very much. The coming down part was the dangerous part. And, you see that you're going to have different techniques. They have a bungee cord across there right now, as you can see. And you want to run fast enough, put the end of the pole in it's like a metal box, and it slides right there, and then it catches. And then the bar will bend, and you're not supposed to just muscle up. You're supposed to let the bending bar push you over. It's hard. You kick your legs up, you turn your body. So you have a lot of former gymnasts and acrobatic people who are good at an event like that.
Definitely. All of our field athletes, they have to be fearless. I mean, to go into a high jump event or a pole vault event or any of our field events, you definitely have to have some aspect of confidence before even attempting it.
You see our young men there doing back kips, and they're practicing their arch, because what they do is their last step is, let's say they're coming in from the right side with their left foot, and they drive their right leg up, their right arm up. They go over backwards, which is something that started years ago. Originally, people went over frontwards. And finally, one person, and the people thought the person was crazy, went over backwards. And they were all like, what is he doing? And it worked. And that's what 99.9% of high jumpers do. I used to love coaching the high jump. Some of the athletes were powerful, springy legs. Some of them their back bend was amazing. I had a girl that I swear, when she went over the bar, Travis, her ponytail was touching her feet. And I was like, do you even have a spine? That's crazy. And she was not tall. A lot of high jumpers are tall. And she won, I think, the county championship for me, and she also finished second in state. So size does not always matter in athletics. So we're getting ready here, folks. We're supposed to be minutes away from the start of the meet. You still have people milling around the track. Right now you see some athletes on the infield here from Edgewood High School, and they are being talked to by their coaches. It looks like some throwers there, if I'm not mistaken, Travis. I think they're a little bit stronger than you and I are.
Maybe a tad bit.
So while we have a minute here, I want to thank Coach Daryl Diamond from Harford Tech for being the meet host. He coaches Harford Tech. And then we have his other coach on his team is Coach Knight. Oh, no, that's Edgewood. So Daryl Diamonds is the only coach I have listed for Harford Tech. I'll try to get some more. For Edgewood High School, we have Jerry Henderson, who you and I both know, and he's a well-known cross-country coach also. And then we have David Knight coaching with him. And according to Jerry, David Knight was the Coach of the Year recently.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I don't know which year it was. Having Grace, we have longtime coach Jerry Lee, who used to be at Seamount Wright for years. We have Sue Andrews. I think this is Dwayne Baxter. We have Ryan Bain, and Adam Recklin, and Jordan Hawthorne. Now, did you say you ran or went to school with one or two of those?
Yeah, I studied physical education at Salisbury with Coach Hawthorne.
Oh, that's awesome. So then for North Harford, we have a Jess Cruson, and she's doing a great job there. For Seamount Wright, we have Kara Knowles, we have Devon Moore, we have Sean Loper. We also have Deanna Schaefer, who I knew years ago teaching physical education. We have Brian Heinbaugh, and I think I might have said this already, but Sean Loper, who I think might be one of their cross-country coaches. Mm-hmm. He was a longtime coach at Bel Air. Travis, your coach is retired now, so is it weird for you to not see Donnie Mickey out there?
It is. I'm sure it's weird for me and a lot of other athletes and families around here. Coach Mickey put in nearly 30 years of service for Harford County Athletics, working as a track coach, a cross-country coach, also served as the athletic director at Seamount Wright. So it's good to see familiar faces like Coach Henderson and Coach Bain from Hatem Grace and Edgewood.
Yeah.
But it feels a little off without Coach Mickey running around the infield.
He also used to run the meets a lot, and he was known for running a very quick, well-run meet. And folks, that's one of the things about high school sports that's wonderful is you have people, particularly the teachers, who, they had to work with these kids all day and work a long day, and they want to go home to their families, and they stick around and coach. I was fortunate enough to coach from 20, 21 years old up until when you and Jamie were little. Mm-hmm. And I gave it up for you all. Plus, I was an elementary school teacher, and it was hard to get to the high schools. But I loved my 15, 20 years of coaching, and it gives you lifetime memories. Travis coaches the Seamount Wright swim team, and what did you do? This was your third year, I think you just finished?
Yes.
And you can already tell it brings you wonderful memories just knowing these kids and their families.
Definitely. Coaching is you get it exactly what you give into it. It's a super rewarding job to participate in, just like teaching, like you said. To know that you're making a difference in some kids, give them opportunities like sports or any other extracurriculars that a lot of our teachers sponsor. A big thank you to all those coaches out there.
So one thing that's neat about track and field, and Travis and I love many other sports. You see a shot at some of our. I don't know what the holdup on the start here is. They were supposed to start a few minutes ago. Looks like they're getting some things together here with timers and other. But one thing that's neat about this sport is the variations. It is the sport that completely rewards people for being athletic. You have your sprinters with pure speed and power. You have your distance runners with great endurance, stamina. You have your middle distance runners, which, let's face it, years ago the 800 or half mile was considered a distance event. These people fly around that track in the 400 and 800 now. Travis and I are big Olympic fans. We love to watch these people run a lap in 44 seconds. Run 2 laps in a minute and 40 seconds. That's just crazy. I mean, I'm going to say this, Trav. You and I were both very good in track, but we weren't superstars. We both had teammates that we had on our team that you saw them running a 2-mile run a minute faster than you. You saw them running a 400. You know, I thought I was decent, and I had 3 teammates that were running under a 50-second 400. That people that don't know track and field do not know how hard it is to run a 9:52 mile, to run a sub 50 second or even a low 50 seconds for boys, and break a minute for the girls in the 400.
Yeah, there's all kinds of levels to thresholds and goals too. You see a lot of our older athletes, upperclassmen, juniors, and seniors, hitting some of those notable times, milestones. But we also got to consider that some of these athletes, this is their first time trying a high school sport, getting used to the flow of high school for our underclassmen, waiting until the spring season to participate in some of those extracurriculars. So it's just amazing to see students and athletes from all different levels.
And the coaches had to find out what their niche is. So we are getting ready to start the girls 4x800 relay. So I'll let you know that we have, for Edgewood, we have Christy Anastasia leading off, and they just started. We have Hendrington Sophia Hendrington, I'm going to get backwards, Willow Borowski, and Brielle Whiteford. For North Harford, we have Kendall Chandler, we have Madeline Coyle, we have Mallory McCartney, we have Eden Husong, and female on the right, we have Lillian Budelis, we have Sophia Hodges, we have Ashley Heinball, we have Luna Musto, and for Harvard Tech, we have Victoria Klipner, we have Tegan Moore, we have Clara Colburn, we have Anna Knapp, and let me correct that first one, it was Anastasia Christie and Sophia Harrington. So you saw them all starting together there in the curve, Trav. With only 4 teams, it's not real hard to jostle, but Travis and I have both been in races where there's 20 people in that starting line. So it looks like we have North Harford taking off?
Yeah, Kendall Chandler out of North Harford, using a strategy of kind of pulling away in the beginning, set up your team for a good lead moving down the stretch.
I know they have a good distance team, and I was talking to their coach, and I had a chance to talk to these 4 young ladies. They were super nice, and they had that regional champion cross-country team. And one of the girls, Trav, the Chandler girl, she you recognize that name from swimming. She was a good swimmer for North Harford as well. So what do you see here sometimes, Trav, is this girl taking off like that? Is she going to pay for it? Is it going to work? Or are they going to start reeling her in?
Well, I can tell you, if she was paying for it, we would see it in about the next 10 seconds.
Have you been there, Trav? Is that what you're saying?
It's a familiar feeling. As you can see, her stride is staying consistent, though, as just about where she went in the beginning. Typically, going out fast tends to pay off. Sometimes mentally it takes your opponents out of it, as well as just having a physical lead.
So, yep, continue.
Really good effort out of Kendall Chandler out of North Harford to put in the Hawks in the lead on first lap.
Well, here we come with the exchanges coming up, folks, and you see different styles. I just asked the one team, I said, what's your exchange? You do the open palms up, or do you do the underhand? Because some people actually do that. And the one girl says, we just turn around and we get the baton. I said, well, her coach looked at her and shook her head and was like, no, there's more to it than that. Now, I will tell you, Travis, I've done this before as a coach, and I don't know if Donnie's done this with you guys, but usually in relays, fastest is last, 4th, second fastest is second, and then the 3rd and 4th fastest are in the middle 2 legs. Some coaches will put their fastest runner first to get that big lead, to try to psych the other teams out and see if the other people can run what I call scared a little bit. You've been put in that position before, and
Thanks,
did it work for you to run scared?
I do recall my junior year being the anchor of a 4x4 relay where I was about 3 seconds slower than my teammates. I had a 100-yard lead when I got the baton, and I had about a 15-yard lead when I crossed the finish line. So thanks to those teammates back in the day.
Well, I don't remember it as bad as that, so he's being a little too critical of himself, but still the concept is there. They did take their fastest runner and went first that day. And I had that joy in my high school where when I got to run on a certain relay, we had a state championship runner, the coach put him first. But this second leg is doing exactly what she should do, Travis. I think that's Madeline Coyle.
From North Harford.
So I'll tell you what I like about what she did. She didn't get that baton with a 70-yard lead and just start slow. She pushed it to psychologically tell those people, you're not catching me.
Definitely. That's what's so fun about track and field, especially the distance events. You can take yourself out of a race before it even starts. And it's even better when you can take your opponent out of a race before it even starts. So North Harford, this North Harford 4x8 team is looking very strong in our first event. And that's nothing against Edgewood, Sea Mountain Wright, and Harford Tech. They're coming in at great times, and if we see this shot, they're in a good pack there, finishing up this second leg.
There's also strategy in your coaching, Travis. With it being a one-day meet, you could put your 4 best girls or boys in the relay, or you could spread some of them out to individual events too. So, Jerry Henderson may have a great mile runner coming up, and he had to decide, do I put that mile runner in the 4x8? Because that's a hard recovery. So you got to pick and choose what you want to load up in, kind of like you did with swim lineups. You have to say, I think we could do well in this relay, but I think we could do better in this relay. So it'll be interesting. Another good handoff.
Another thing to point out, I'm looking at the program, this Harford Tech team has 3 freshmen.
Yes.
So to be even competing at this level and to be still in the race is props to those girls.
So I'll have to find out if I'm correct, and we may see it when we see results, but I think the normal result standings are top 6 score, and I think it's 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1 is what the points are to go to individual and relays. And you're going to have different coaches that coach different ways. We had to do this with you all in track and swimming. Do you say, well, the 3rd best 800 runner might not score, so let's put them in the 4x8 and the 4x4, or let's put them here? And that's the kind of decisions coaches have to make to see what they're going to do here. It looks like the Edgewood young lady is gaining on 3rd and 4th a little bit there since she got her exchange.
Definitely, closing the gap is so exciting with these relays because, like you said, you never know the strategy that coach used on a given meet. So at one point, you might see a big lead. A minute later, they're going to be right behind each other.
It's not a lot, but the Sea Milton Wright young lady has gained a little bit back in this leg. It was more like a 70-yard lead, and now it's down to like 50 or 45. Highly unlikely to catch them with a leg and a half to go, but I wouldn't ever say no. I've seen crazier things. You remember at one of your regionals, and there was a boy for Dundalk who was way behind in the 1,600-meter relay, and I swear the kid made back like 50 yards on the field, and our team crossed the line, and then he flew by like a 18-wheeler, and he barely missed catching the lead, but one leg can make up a big difference. Now, what do your coaches tell you? The North Harford coach was somewhere around this track, and she told her young lady, she's picking it up on you a little bit. Let's go, let's go.
Yeah, that in-race coaching is crucial, not only to give good feedback to your athletes, but also just to make them feel like you're watching them and you're seeing them, to get that extra motivation.
So I'm going to see the time here at 7:58 on that exchange, and we'll see the time difference here. It's going to be pretty much like a 10-second, 11-second gap. That's a lot to make up for. So what we might have for the best race here is between 2nd and 3rd. See if the one young lady from, is that Harford Tech 3rd? Or is that?
It's hard to see with the black
jerseys. Yeah, I think
jerseys.
Sea Milton Wright's in 2nd. And look, the Harford Tech young lady is going after her. Now, you know this from experience, and I have some of it too, that you don't want to burn out all your energy catching them in one lap or in a 200. So she's almost gaining this back in a half of a lap. Now the question will be, what will the Sea Mountain Wright girl do when, oh, the Edgewood young lady, is that the star girl? Let's see who that is.
Rio Whitworth.
Yes, she is a state champion, and in the, I think she won something last year, big time. But that's Brielle
I
Whitworth.
believe it was the hurdles I saw.
Yes.
And wow, look at this. Edgewood taking over the second place position
Yes.
with their anchor.
Now the Sea Mountain Wright girl sensed Harford Tech coming on her, and then she put on a little spurt to pick it up. So it's a lot of psychologicals in this sport, Travis. I mean, does your body feel like it has the energy to put in another 350 yards when you're already hurting?
Yeah, it's tough. It's being intrinsically motivated, but then you got that coach right on the infield cheering you on, and that can do all the difference.
So now what'll probably happen, unless I'm wrong, is Jerry has probably already told his anchor, you secured second, you're not going to get first.
Settle in.
Settle in and just save the energy for your next 3 races or
Definitely.
your next 3 events.
Also, a quick shout out to Coach Henderson. We were seeing him giving his senior anchor some feedback, but also the sportsmanship to cheer on and encourage all the other athletes throughout.
We've noticed that for years.
Yeah.
You always appreciate that. He always cheered you guys on. Yeah,
Great
he
guy.
just
And
did
that
it.
right
He
there,
just
yep.
did it. He just gave her the ease up symbol, like the little intricacies of coaching. Oh, is she going to try to sneak up on her? She's trying to, but just a little too late. Excellent race. And we do have one girl going down to the ground, and their coaches and teammates should come over and say, get up, walk it off. I know it's tough. So we'll get the times and exact results to you soon, folks. But I'm going to start previewing the boys' race here. Trav, would you like to read these off for 6 teams?
For our men's 4x800 meter relay, we have Havity Grace, Eric Cumby, Jackson Rolker, Josiah Pettigen, and Samuel Chadwick. For North Harford, Tyler Lamont, Jacob Gestel, Reese Conklin, Justin Collins. For Edgewood, Nathan Bennett, James Beretta, Jamal Edmonds, Darian Walters. Representing the home team, Harford Tech, Anthony Manzo, Martin Bender, Jonathan Sedlak, and Chase Garcia. And our last team in the race is Sea Mountain Wright, Charlie Kitts, Luke Puhala, Zach Griffin, and Fabian Laurent.
So this is a little bit more jostling because there's 5 teams. So I can't tell, Travis, but I swore that looked like Luke walking out to the track. But we'll have to see. Maybe it's just another young man that looks similar to him. They might have redone their order, which they are allowed to do. So that does look like Luke.
Now right here, we have the exact opposite strategy from the women's race. We have a pack traveling all together throughout that first lap. See how it pays off for them at the end.
They're also going out pretty quick.
Yeah.
So you had the fortune and misfortune of running against a young man from Bel Air. I'm trying to remember his name. He went on to college and did really well. He was running like sub 150 in the 800. Anybody that can even break 2 minutes, it's outstanding.
Wow, going out as a pack in 1 minute on the first lap. This is going to be a fast race.
And we'll see if some of them pay for it. Some people were second half runners. Some people go out and push the pace runners. And I think Jerry was telling me to watch out for his 4x8. He thought they could do really well in these championship meets. The young man from Edgewood has a heck of a stride. I mean, they all are striding out very well.
Now this is where you see some different strategies. Representing Sea Mountain Wright, Luke Puhala, distance runner, cross-country athlete, saving it for the end. Looks like our North Harford athlete is doing the same thing.
Well, they're coming through with fast times looking here. Let's see. Harford Tech with the lead. Coach Diamond also told me they had a good 4x8. So 202, 203. Outstanding. And this is where things are deceiving. Luke is coming through at 209. That's an outstanding 800. Even the Harvard Grace young man. So now you see some jostling on the backstretch here, Travis. And the young man from Edgewood tried to pass on the curve, and both runners held him off to make him settle back in. Now you have another runner trying to pass on the outside here, and he was able to accomplish it.
Sometimes, too, when you feel a runner coming back behind you, it's a good strategy to take a half step out to the right to try to block them from passing you and use a little strategy. Obviously, not bumping into anybody.
It has to be discreet.
But using a little strategy to hold your position in the lead.
Well, and in that, you have, like, you know, jostling that happens at the start line of distance races. People push more than they think they do, but there's a fine line of how much you can and can't. So we do have the North Harford runner trying to take this out and stretch out this lead a little bit. I think this is one of the top two most difficult races, Travis. People want to say, oh, 2 mile is definitely the toughest. It's tough. Mile's tough. But the pace that these runners run at this 800, I said this before, it's still like not a jog. It's a fast race.
It's nearly impossible to settle in and find your pace in an 800 because you're constantly forced to race those people around you, and then it's over in a couple minutes.
Well, people don't think this, but the people that are running 2-minute pace, they're running 15 seconds per 100. That sounds slow, but it's not. I mean, good 200 dashers are running 25 seconds, and you're only running a 205 seconds less, and you're maintaining it?
Now, I want to commend the handoff from the Harford Tech athlete right there. Both North Harford and Harford Tech came in shoulder to shoulder, and here we see Harford Tech with a good 5-yard lead right off that handoff.
Yeah, that's where the aggression comes in, exchanges. People don't realize that. So you have two different techniques here. You look like the runner from North Harford has a little bit longer stride. Now let's see if he tries to pass on the turn or not. See Milton Wright's trying to get back into third place.
I remember when we would practice, we did a drill where as we were coming around the turn, right where those athletes are, that one athlete was told to stay in lane 1 while the other person came and whipped around back into lane 2 to practice passing out of the curve rather than into the curve.
Correct. Should only pass on the curve if you're going significantly faster than the person you're trying to get around. If you pass into the turn, same rule. You need to be going significantly faster. But for people who don't understand this, Travis, you can't just cut right in. You have to have a couple stride lead before you're allowed to, like, cruise in, cut in gradually.
Well, it can be dangerous too if you jump into the lane in front of somebody and you try to settle into your pace, they're going to run right over you. So if you're ready to pass somebody, you better be ready to pass that person.
So he's creeping up on him again on the turn. And is he going to try to, oops, see, right there you saw. He got kind of like, it broke his stride because the runner in front of him might have done a slow step or two. So he's going to try to pass on this turn, which will help for the exchange if he can, because then his teammate could take the lead.
Now, according to the program, that should be Jacob Gestel and Martin Bender. And what a good shoulder-to-shoulder race throughout that 800 from those gentlemen.
So we have a lead taken, but then the other runner says, no, you're not having the lead, and I am going to pass you on a turn. So it'll be interesting to see. Now, this could come down to a lean or one of these two runners could break the other one in the next 500 meters. I don't know whether this is a meter or a yard track, Trav, but it does matter. Meters are longer, folks. It does matter. I try to tell Travis what my 400 time was compared to his, and he said, you ran yards, I ran meters.
Now, what I'm interested to see is North Harford is seated in this race with an 8:35,
Right.
while Harford Tech is seated with an 8:16.
Right.
So I'm curious to see, are we going to see an anchor out of Harford Tech that pulls away? Did we have different coaching strategy, trying to use some new athletes? Or is this athlete saving it?
Well, that's what we talked about before about the coaches choosing their events. So there could be a coach that normally thinks that they have, I'll just put it this way. How do you look at swimming regionals and states compared to counties and UCBACs? Right. So sometimes you think we can win an UCBAC championship or today a Hatem championship in this race. But we might not be able to at regionals and states. Now it could go the other way around. They could say, we're not going to win these individual events, but if we put our 4 best together in the 4x8, we might win states. So we did have a breakaway here by North Harford.
Also looks like we have a race for second now between Edgewood and Harford Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, look at that stride out of Edgewood. I believe that is sophomore Jamal Edmonds representing the Rams.
Good times. So we're going to have to preview here in a second, folks, and we'll get the results for these with times later. But we're now coming to, Travis, the 100 hurdles, and we'll start to see them sliding these hurdles into place. We do have one more team coming in here. I think it's Havre de Grace. And that's the problem.
So.
That's the tough thing about a championship meet, folks. This is the championship meet, and you're running up against some outstanding teams. By the way,
I misspoke for Edgewood. That was senior Darian Walters anchoring their team, sneaking into second. Great finish.
Good job by the Havre de Grace finisher here to finish strong. I will say, Travis, we can tell this from up here in the booth, and our monitor is moving a little bit. It's windy out there, and that affects these distance runners. It makes it so much harder to run into the wind for the half the track that you're doing so. So that's why you'll see some of these people do some drafting. So as they're talking about setting up the 100 hurdles here, Travis, we'll announce the first heat in a second. We're going to be doing something different in this meet this year, folks. They're doing some of the races. We're going to have a junior varsity heats also, and we'll announce them when we go. But in this 100 hurdles, I think we have 3 heats coming up, and the girls. And they do that for the simple reason. They only put the hurdles at every other lane, so that way in case one person accidentally clips a hurdle or hits a hurdle, they're not hitting their hurdle into the lane next to them. Or if a person stumbles over the hurdle, it sounds harsh to say, but if they're going to fall, they can fall into an empty lane to their left or right and not run into people. I tried to ask Travis once to try the 300 hurdles, and like 90% of the athletes, what was your response?
No.
No, thank you. This one takes a lot of bravery and athletic ability, flexibility, leg strength, coordination. You had a good friend, I think it was Ellie Wheeler. She was very good at the hurdles, and she could do, I love coaching this event, and there's a gentleman here named Al Baker who coached at C. Milton Wright and some other schools for years, and Al was considered the hurdling guru for years. I was for a while there. We love taking athletic, fast kids that thought they were 100 dashers, and they were good in the 100. But you apply that speed over the hurdles, you can make champions out of these people. So you have people that try to go over with the same leg every hurdle, Trav, and that's good if they're doing 3 steps. If they're doing 5 steps between hurdles, unless they're tinier, that's way too many choppy steps. So when we see this, folks, I'm going to tell you, when you can see that somebody's doing the 3-step. And it seems like an exaggerated step, but they're doing it quickly, and that's technically the fastest way. The second fastest way takes skill, Travis, alternating legs. It's like a person being able to throw right and left-handed or shoot right and left-handed. It's not easy. So the people that are really good with that, they don't want to quite push 3-step, but they don't want to do 5, so they learn to step left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg. So why don't you tell us our first heat here, Travis, that we should be seeing in their lanes?
So coming up in just a minute, we have heat 1 of the girls 100-meter hurdles. In lane 1, Allison Knott from North Harford. Lane 3, Sari Pakovitz out of Havre de Grace. Lane 5 is Lola Sampedro from North Harford. And in lane 7 is Finley Batten from Havre de Grace. Looking at the seed times, first place compared to the last seed is 0.9 seconds.
Wow.
So this should be a really exciting race to watch.
And all it takes, folks, is I tried this a little bit in high school. I was not designed for this because my legs were very short. But you clip one hurdle, you catch your toe on one. That was a nice attempt there at the pole vault by somebody from, I think that's Simone Wright, but I can't tell. Simone Wright confused me, Trev, because sometimes they wear their dark uniforms and sometimes they wear their their white uniforms.
Now, what we're seeing in some of this shot, is you can see what we call the hurdle crew. Usually, it is the hurdle team from the home team, Harford Tech, prepping the hurdles. Some are set at different sizes or different heights for the different lengths of the races. So thank you to those athletes for being good leaders for their team, getting the race prepared.
Yeah, they have to set them for this height for the girls. And then as soon as the girls are done, you'll see people running out there and raising them for the boys. And the boys' high hurdle height is the highest of all the hurdle events. They aren't as high, common sense, for the 300 hurdles because of fatigue and so forth. I mean, I always joke, and I was going to say this to later, but I'll throw myself under the bus now, Travis. I won my first 300 hurdles to the 290 point, and then I tripped over the last hurdle. So there is a lot of technique to the hurdles, and we'll get to that more with the 300 hurdles. But even with the 300 hurdles, people try to have a certain amount of steps in between, maybe 20 steps in between, but that's even hard to do. So you have to practice being able to go over with your weak leg, because if you get there on the wrong leg, you don't want to stutter step. You don't want to jump the hurdle. You want to hurdle the hurdle. I like these times, Travis. That's impressive. I mean, I know it's a championship meet, but for it all to be 21 seconds and faster on seeds, that's impressive.
And I saw 2 of those girls that are coming up in Heat 1. Again, I want to shout out our underclassmen. Those are 2 ninth graders out of Havre de Grace coming in at 20 and 21 seconds. Finley and Sari. Awesome job.
So the way I'm seeing that they're doing this is they're going by seed time like they do in the swim meets, where since we're not having qualifiers, some of the bigger meets you'll have the talent spread across equally in the middle lanes and all the heats, and then the top 2 from each heat make the finals. That's what happens at states. It might happen at regionals. At this meet, you're seeing the fastest 4 are going to be in the last heat. And they do that because they're going on time, and they want those people to have a chance to go against each other in the fastest heat, because those 4 girls, technically speaking, should be competing for the Hatem championships. Here they go. Good start here. I don't know if somebody fell or we have 2 dropouts. You could have had that. Sometimes we don't hear the information, folks. It looks like our second from the right lane here is our winner of that heat, and that should have been Lola.
Yep, Lola out of Havre de Grace. Congratulations, and it looks like the best time.
Lola out of North Harford.
North Harford, I apologize.
Okay, let's announce this. So you see the other 2 girls warming up here for the next heat, so why don't you announce that heat, Travis?
Heat 2 Kendall Faber from Sea Mountain Wright. In lane 3 of heat 2 is Megan Harris out of Edgewood. Lane 5, Jamira Perry out of Edgewood. And lane 7, Aaron Lyons from Sea Mountain Wright. Now while you're watching, the athletes on the right side of your screen are going to be in lane 1, and the athlete on the left side of your screen will be in lane 7 or 8.
And you see the different starts here, so it looks like we're missing another participant. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this leader here from Edgewood is doing alternating steps. Looks like one hit a hurdle in the back there.
That's going to be a good time.
Now, she did stop near the line, and I can hear it through my microphone, a coach saying, always run through the line. And that is important because that could be that 0.2 of a second to exchange places. Now let's hear the third heat, Travis. This is some outstanding talent in this heat.
Now in heat 3 from lane 1, Zanab out of Edgewood. Lane 3 is Winter Evans from Harford Tech. Lane 5, Madison Bob from Harford Tech. And lane 7, Brooke Jeffers from Harford Tech.
So this doesn't surprise me. Harford Tech has outstanding hurdlers every year. And looking at those times, we have a seed time of 14:42 for Winter and a 15:04 for Madison. Madison is the younger sister of the other Bob girl who was outstanding and went on to great college and other talent. Those are times that I wish I had the UCBAC record, but the UCBAC record used to be 15:1 by a girl I coached, Lori Staples. So to have these kind of times, not even at the end of the season, and
both in their
senior year. These are two girls that have a chance at states.
Wow.
It's great to have a teammate that good to challenge you every meet. Regaining the lead from lane 3. Comes down to a lean. Oh, that's a close one, Trav.
Too close to call.
They have it at 14:82. So if that's the case, it's a very good time.
And it looks like from the monitor that they have Winter Evans finishing first place, Madison Bob second, Brooke Jeffers, and Zanab from Edgewood finishing in 4th. All amazing races.
Yeah, that was outstanding. These are girls that are going to be very competitive in regionals and states. So they're also extending the hurdles, folks, with the hurdle crew. You'll see that this one's 110, whereas the girls' race is 100. And you wonder why? Well, it's because of the height and leg length of the boys. It's harder for them. They need the hurdle further apart, if that makes any sense. So I will tell you, Travis, just in that girls' last heat, they exchanged the leads like 3 times.
Yeah.
It literally went back and forth in the middle of the race. So one young lady had a better start to the first hurdle, which is very important. The other one had a better 2, 3, 4 hurdles. The other one had a better middle hurdles. And you wonder, well, what does that mean? That means that their timing and their steps were on and off a little bit more at certain times of the hurdles. So let's see what he got here. We got some wind going here. Looks like we have a thrower here. See a long jumpers practicing in the background. In the shot put, you have a slide, step, and a turn. And all that momentum and centrifugal force helps you drive your body weight into the throw also, and allows you to use your legs. People think it's all about just the upper body strength. So much of it is the coordination. This young man is just doing a set technique and push. And you will see other people who will do that, but you also see people that do a slide and a half turn.
Now, Dad, you can educate me on this. When they score the shot put and the discus, is it where the ball or disc land or where it finishes?
It's where it lands. And that's the same case for discus, javelin when they have that in other track and field, hammer throw, and the same thing with long and triple jump. Because when they do the long and triple jump, if they fall backwards after they land and they put their hand back, it's their hand.
Wow.
It's the furthest thing from the jump.
That doesn't seem fair.
So this young man is also doing a just turn and throw.
And I believe looking at the program, this might be Nair Williams or Benjamin Mars out of Edgewood.
Okay, as we're watching this hurdle race, Travis announced the first heat. It looks like only one person made it to this heat.
Now, representing Edgewood in Heat 1 of the men's 110-meter hurdles, we have, apologize, going through the program. We just got to watch Tyler Martin, senior out of Edgewood.
So there was only 2 people in that race anyhow. So let's see who's in the second heat, Trav.
Heat 2 of the boys 110-meter hurdles. Nathaniel Curry from Sea Mountain Wright, Dominic Scott from Harford Tech, Connor Berth from Havre de Grace, and Jaden Smith from Edgewood.
So you will see them doing some practice runs to the hurdle. The drive out of the blocks, Travis, is really kind of crazy for this. They tell you in the 100 dash, when you drive out of the blocks, it's like you're falling on your face forward without falling down because you don't want to stand up right away. So without calling out the different runners, fans will see this. You'll see some people stand straight up out of the blocks. Well, they didn't use the blocks as well as they could have that way because the blocks are designed at an angle that you're like jumping out of the blocks and you're driving out. So let's see the start position here. Looks like Coach Diamond being the starter. The gun did not go off, folks. How do you feel about that in races, Travis? Nerve-wracking, isn't it?
Yes, all it does is add pressure. And you can see it in the athletes there kind of laughing to themselves like, oh, come on. I just want to get this over with.
I'm trying not to mess up my start. Come on, gun, work. So if you've ever heard the term false start in swimming or track, you're not allowed to move before the gun or the start noise. It's a very difficult thing to do. They're putting their fingertips down behind the line. They're putting their body weight on it on your mark, and then they go on the noise. Great job by the middle 2 lanes, especially lane 3, driving out of the blocks there. Now look, he did the 3. He's doing 3-step. Very long-legged hurdler, and he's driving to the line.
What a race from Dominic Scott, junior out of Harford Tech.
Another Harford Tech hurdler. And they have the fastest 2 seeds in the next heat as well, Trav.
Great races all around. Those are, so far, I'm looking at 3 for 3 on PR, or 4 for 4 PRs from that race.
Awesome.
Good job.
So heat 3 here is going to be a good one, folks.
Heat 3 for the boys 110-meter hurdles. In lane 1, Jeremiah Smith from Edgewood. In lane 2, Corey Reevy from Harford Tech. Lane 5, Dwayne Roper from Harford Tech. And in lane 7, Alex Curry from Sea Mountain Wright.
So you look at this top-seeded time of 14:34 for Corey Reevy, but wow, look at all the times. The difference between 2nd seed and 4th seed is 0.3 of a second.
That's incredible.
This is going to come down to all the basics of track and field. Good start, who drives out of the blocks the best, who's coming over that first hurdle with the most speed. Because let me explain this to you. It's hard to get speed up between the hurdles.
Yeah.
All your speed comes from your start to the first hurdle. A good friend of mine and someone that Travis likes too, Laura Snyder, used to coach the hurdlers for Sea Mountain Wright. She's working with Patterson Mill now. That looked like it could have been a false start in lane 1. That's a shame.
Wow.
Either the other people aren't running their normal pace or this young man is going to have a PR.
You can see it on his face. He knew that was a good one. I believe that is senior Corey Reevy from Harford Tech finishing 1st place. Great race from all 4 gentlemen.
So here's how crazy this is. The young man from Edgewood stumbled out of the blocks, and he still ran a 15.31. He misstepped out of the blocks. Now I'm hoping it's not a false start. I think he didn't false start. I think he just misstepped. And he still ran a time that I would have dreamed to run. That's outstanding. So now they're clearing. The hurdle crew, Travis, is lowering the hurdles to show you organization by Coach Diamond. He's already told them what height to lower it to for the next race, the 300 hurdles.
Oh, I do see that.
See
You're
that?
right. They're getting prepared.
They're getting prepared so that when they are ready for the 300 hurdles, now a well-run meet, these people will be moving the hurdles to the right locations for the 300 hurdles.
That's also good for team culture to share responsibility with some of your athletes and let them have a little say, a little input on how the meet flows.
Well, let's have a shout out here too to the team managers. In a sport like this, sometimes they're helping with results, sometimes they're helping with hurdle crews, sometimes they're running around and putting away the high jump equipment or taking it out. But that is a team thing. You've been asked to move that kind of stuff before too. I would tell my whole team, we're not just telling the pole vaulters to move those heavy pole vault mats. Here's a workout for the team. Let's go over and move all these mats.
One other thing I would like to point out is as a distance runner, you saw how many people were standing against the fence on the 100 and 110 meter hurdles.
Right.
How exciting those races are.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see a lot of them go in the stands on those, that 8-lap race with the 3,200 meter.
Mm-hmm.
So it really just goes to show how exciting these races are and at all different levels of the competitions.
Well, you and I, have been involved with track and swimming, and we're just enamored by the distance runners' abilities to do a 500-yard swim, to run a 3,200 run. So we're going to start here with a shot putter, but Travis, I'm going to get you ready for the 100 dash here. So let's read the first heat of the girls 100 dash. And is this the first junior varsity race we're seeing?
Yes.
Awesome.
All right. Girls 100 meters. In lane 2, Chloe Giles from Sea Mountain Right. Lane 3, Taylor Walton from North Harford. Lane 4, Saletta Teta from Edgewood. Lane 5, Natasha Sullivan from Sea Mountain Right. And lane 6, Clementine Ferguson from North Harford.
So we have quite a bit of young people here that we're really excited to watch. So I'm loving that Coach Diamond did this. He did not have to do this. With it being a smaller meet, he literally has given himself a chance to give a few people a chance to be in this meet.
That's what extracurriculars and sports are all about. We want to get the students involved, the students participating. So this is awesome.
Got a close race here. 3 girls packed together, 4th one close. Yes. And we know Clementine Ferguson because her father, Matt, is a golf instructor and former pro golfer locally by the Churchville Putt-Putt. He gave you some golf lessons, Trav.
Yep.
Did it help? Was it his fault if it didn't help?
No. It helped me when I was 11, and then I forgot everything when it mattered.
So he, that was a good race, and Clementine also swam. So now we have Heat 2 of the junior varsity girls. And I'm wondering if they're going to declare a champion of the junior varsity. That'll be cool.
Definitely. In Heat 2, Lane 2, Zamaya Adkins from Edgewood. Lane 3, Zoe Sanders from Harford Tech. Lane 4, Janelle Reyes from Harford Tech. Lane 5, Gabriella Perdomo from Havre de Grace. And in Lane 6, Madison Berth from Havre de Grace.
So the fine line between being fast and really fast, I want to say this is something you're more born with. People are born with other abilities too, and you could train distance runners to get faster. But how do I best say this, Trav? Speed is speed. So these kids are all fast. They're that kid that you couldn't catch in tag, and it drove you crazy. good start there in lane 1 there. Also coming down in the middle here. Oh, this is going to come down to the middle lane here. Looks like our young lady from Harford Tech, Janelle Reyes, pulled that out. Yeah, 13.64. See, that's why you do this. 13.64 in a lot of teams would be the fastest girl. Here she is. She's in the junior varsity race for her team. That shows you the depth and talent that Harford Tech has. So now we're going to have our girls varsity race.
Yep, coming up. And those 3 times that we saw on the monitor, those are 3 PRs, personal records, for all those athletes. So congratulations. Now we're moving on to the girls 100-meter varsity final. Heat 1, lane 1, Madeline Smick, senior from North Harford. Lane 2, Sarah Saunders from Sea Mountain Wright. Lane 3, Sky Harris from Edgewood. Lane 4, Marabella Sanchez from Harford Tech. Lane 5, Amina James from Havre de Grace. Lane 6, McKenna Tidwell from North Harford. And lane 7, Clara Peterson from North Harford. Now, to point out, actually, I don't mean to cut you off.
That's okay.
Those times from the junior varsity race, those best times just ran themselves into the varsity times.
Yes.
So that's so exciting about these championship meets.
Okay, we have a good start here. Looks like our young lady in the middle here is taking the lead. Did a good battle for 1-2. Is that a young lady from Harford Tech?
Yep.
Marabella Sanchez. And again, good time, but to your point, the first 2 girls in the last heat would have been competitive with this heat. And I think what we're seeing here is the times are seeded faster by the heat in this also. So our second heat, Travis, is our fastest heat, and this is where our point scorers will probably come from. But the winner of that heat might slip into this.
Heat 2, lane 1, Savannah Lawrence from Havre de Grace. Lane 2 is Shania Hill from Sea Mountain Wright. Lane 3, Madison Morgan from Harford Tech. Lane 4, Nevaeh Hall from Edgewood. Lane 5, Winter Evans from Harford Tech. Lane 6, Ajaya Webb from Havre de Grace. And lane 7, Tamia Thompson from Havre de Grace. And I apologize, Ajaya Webb is from Edgewood.
So our slowest 2 seeds in this heat are 13-4, 13-3. That's outstanding. We have multiple girls in this heat who are seated under 13 seconds. These are fast times, folks. I can't wait to see the 4x100 relays later here. And these are probably the girls that are going to be anchoring it. Winter Evans is our top seed, and she's the young lady who was the hurdle champion last year, I think. And she's also good at the 100 dash. So sometimes the coaches move them around, as I said before. This is a very fast heat here. And again, I think we have players here again. You notice our people standing on the blocks there. Good starts. Good start there in lane 3. Edgewood and Harford Tech also challenging. Coming on strong here. Lean at the tape.
Oh my goodness, 12-9.
And that was that an upset there?
Madison Morgan.
Madison Morgan upset her teammate and the
From
Edgewood young
Harford Tech.
lady. That's a PR by quite a lot.
Wow.
She knocked a half a second off of her time, or 0.7 off of her time. And that is in a sprint, folks. That is hard to do. Her coach is going to be very pleased about that.
That's amazing.
I mean, the thing is, Travis, the other girls swam. They ran their times. That girl just got a PR by a big margin.
Yeah, and it's so, even in a sprint, we don't know if that came from the start, it came from the build-up, or the finish. So there's levels to all of these races, no matter how long they are.
Yep, now we have our first heat of the boys 100-meter junior varsity race.
The junior varsity 100-meter men's. Heat 1, lane 2, Cameron Allen from North Harford. Heat 1, lane 3, William Richardson from Sea Mountain Wright. Lane 4, Ryan Irby from Havre de Grace. Lane 5, Gavin Johnson from Havre de Grace. And lane 6, Ian Lamont from North Harford. I'd also like to apologize. It looks like Aaliyah Webb. There was a misprint on the program. So great race from the 100-meter Aaliyah Webb from Edgewood.
Oh, okay. So we have all 9th and 10th graders in this first heat, Travis. So again, impressive times. And here's what's interesting about this, Travis. Relay spots. People can earn relay spots by beating their teammate that used to beat them. And you used to be the 5th fastest. Now you're the 4th fastest. Now you're on the relay. Got 2 teammates battling here.
Looks like Gavin and Ryan out of Havre de Grace coming to the finish.
That was a good run. And a time of 12:04 for, it says here, Ryan Irby. So he knocked 0.3 seconds off of his time. And that is a big difference. That young man is close to that young man is close to breaking 12. And that's one of those thresholds, Travis, that we talk about in
well, that time,
events.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay.
That time he just ran is the 3rd seed in this race now.
Wow.
So what's so exciting about dropping time, you not only get a best time for yourself, but like we've explained, you can sneak into the people up behind you.
So here we have Heat 2.
Heat 2 for the junior varsity 100-meter men's. Lane 2 is Calic Brutus from Simone Wright. Lane 3 is Sean Holmes from Harford Tech. Lane 4, Dreon Goldsboro from Edgewood. Lane 5, Lloyd Taylor from Harford Tech. And lane 6, Kyrie Gillespie out of Edgewood.
So have you heard a bang in our background, folks? That was a door being blown closed by a really fast wind gust. So we talked about that because it does affect races. You hope you're running with the wind to your back in the 100 dash and so forth. But if you're running,
that wind suggested it, they're lucky right now.
Yes.
It's helping.
Well, and that's why records at the higher levels aren't allowed if the wind gust is a certain amount behind you. But, you know, I'm hoping the discus throwers have the wind to their back and the shot putters have the wind to their back. I hope the jumpers don't have to run into the wind to get going.
That'd be scary as a pole vaulter and just getting stuck up at the top.
I was going over the bar, and then the wind blew me back.
Gravity was against me on that.
Yes. So anyhow, we're waiting for something here. I think Coach Diamond was getting more caps for the gun to start. So now once we're through these sprints here, folks, the events will be flying by a lot quicker. There will be some races where we only have one Hatem in them. Some of the distance races we'll see for later, which is good and bad, Travis. It's good for the spectators who don't want to watch too long, but it's bad for the participants because it's more crowded. Good starts. I like the way they drove, especially the first 3 lanes on the inside. Young man from Edgewood flying down the track here.
Wow, yeah.
Oops.
Ooh.
Put his arms out a little bit early there.
Hey, when you run 11.6, I'd be pretty proud too.
What was his seed time?
11, right around 11.6 as
Okay.
well.
Well, Coach will always say, lean over the tape. Get the best time you can. So now we have, is this our first heat of the boys varsity level?
Yep. Coming up next, we have the boys varsity 100-meter race. In lane 1, Ronell Dials from Simone Wright. Lane 2, Kyle Sims from North Harford. Lane 3, Chase Wiseman from North Harford. Lane 4, Karan Evans from Harford Tech. Apologize. Lane 5, Long Pham from Simone Wright. Lane 6, Gavin Batten from Havre de Grace. And lane 7, Braylon Gray from North Harford.
So when we get to some of the longer events, we'll try to find the official results and read some of them off to you. And we'll be relying on getting that information to read you the field events because we cannot tell you who's winning the field events. I will tell you in the long and triple jump, shot put, and discus, it is just your best jump. It's your best throw that tells you what place you're going to finish. Now, if they have something like two people tied with the exact, if you both get the same exact 20-foot long jump, you can say you tie it. Some jurisdictions will say your second best jump is the tiebreaker. But in something like the high jump and pole vault, it's very interesting because here we go with this race, and I'll get back to that point. Not surprising, middle lane driving to the lead. We could have a comeback coming here. Let's see if the Seamount right runner overtakes them, and they do. Now, Travis, that's a good thing to see there. People think that the person from Seamount right, and that would have been, who do we think came back there?
Long Fam.
Long Fam. You would think that he accelerated more at the line. It's not that. He didn't slow down as much. He maintained his sprint longer. So everybody is decelerating at the line because you can't go as fast in the last 50 as you do your first 50. But that young man from Seamount right, he was able to maintain his sprint longer, and he came back.
Yeah, great race from Long Fam, Seamount right. Heat 2, boys 100-meter varsity. Lane 1, Shamari Whitmore from Harford Tech. Lane 2, Derek Ross from Havre de Grace. Lane 3, Kion Greenwood from Edgewood. Lane 4, Javian Miner from Edgewood. Lane 5, Malachi Robinson from Edgewood. Lane 6, Jace Miller from Harford Tech. Lane 7, Aim Rai De Los Santos from Havre de Grace. And lane 8, Mason Garris from Sea Mountain Right.
So this is where we should have our first few placing. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Long Fam from Sea Mountain Right time might not sneak in here. But we'll see. So back to my point before, Travis. If you and I both pole vault 10 feet, but I had more misses than you, you win. Same thing with the high jump. So if we both high jump 6 feet, but you missed your first time and I didn't, then I win. There's like two Edgewood runners here.
Yep.
Oh, it might be a 1, 2, 3, Trav. Well, Jerry will be happy with that. Looks like he got a
10.98.
Mm-hmm.
Great race.
And 10.99.
10.99. Oh my goodness. And that Malachi Robinson, we have him listed as a freshman. So it looks like the Edgewood sprint team is going to have some success for a long time. And Javen Miner is a sophomore. So two underclassmen.
4x1 looks like it has a lot of potential for regionals and states, doesn't it?
Definitely. Great race.
Wow. So here we are getting ready for our next event is going to be, I think, the 1,600-meter run. And according to this, they're going to put them all in one heat. So you see the three Edgewood young men walking off, and now you see the field event area. You see the high jump pit there, Travis. And again, the young man is starting off the track. Look how far he's approaching from. And he's getting his steps down, and he's not going, but he's practicing his approach. So these people have to practice making sure that the race runners aren't running by them because they're stepping all the way out on the track. Now, he looks like a tall young man, so he wants more steps. And again, he's going to lead with his right leg stepping last, or his left leg stepping last. He's going to get parallel to the bar when he leaves. He's going to drive his right arm up and over, head over first, shoulders over, upper back, hips up to get his upper body over the bar. And then he's got to snap his head towards his toes so his lower body will raise over the bar too. Such timing. you knew I coached this, and when you were running, I helped some of your high jumpers, and one of my young ladies was a foot shorter than most of her competition, but she was a gymnast, and she could spring into the air and get over that bar. Another thing you probably weren't interested in, huh?
Nope.
Now he's spinning and then throwing. That's a technique that's often done. And again, I cannot tell whether these people were doing this with warm-ups or if this is the real competition. Now, all of our 1,600 runners are gathering, Travis, so why don't you start naming the first 1,600 race here for the girls.
All right, coming up, we have the girls 1,600 meter. Right now, you see them lining up on the start line. And our athletes today are Selena Campillo from Havre Grace, Elena Korfman from Havre Grace, Marley Seaborn from Harford Tech, Abigail Stott from Sea Mountain Wright, Sophia Hedrington from Edgewood, Caroline Bates from Harford Tech, Willow Borowski from Edgewood, Kara Palmer from Sea Mountain Wright, Mallory McCartney, North Harford, Eden Hussung from North Harford, Cameron Loper, Sea Mountain Wright, Kendall Chandler, North Harford, Isabel Devos, Harford Tech, and our top seed, Brielle Whitworth from Edgewood.
Brielle is a two-time state champion in this, Trav.
I believe it, looking at that time.
She is outstanding. She's taking the lead right away. Different people have different styles. Some people like to start off mild, be in the top 3 or 4, and they build and they like to have a good kick. Some people like to start 19th out of 25 and try to pass everybody at the end of the race.
It was fun.
So it's funny, Trev, because you ran with some really outstanding runners, and the group of you, I think you won your senior year, you won the regional championship in cross country. And just in that team you had, this one liked to take it out fast. This one liked to stay in the pack and build late. Who is this hanging on? We have a Harford Tech runner.
I guess the second seed, Isabel Devos from Harford Tech. When you see the runners come around the backside of the track, you might notice a sticker on their leg or on their shorts with a number. That is the seed that they're ranked in. So 1 being the top seed, and it gets higher as it goes.
Looks like we have 13 participants in this race, and the front 2 girls are definitely taking it out, but I really like what Isabel's doing. Her seed time is 30 seconds off of Brielle's, but she's trying to stay with her as long as she can. And there's 2 strategies to that. 3 actually. What if Brielle has an off day? Do I have a chance? Secondly, I'm going to use Brielle to pull me away from 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Exactly.
And then the third one is PR, getting the best time.
I have a vivid memory my senior year. I just broke under 5 minutes. My best friend on the team wanted to break 5 minutes, so I ran with him. He ended up beating my PR by 10 seconds, and I added about 5, but I was happy for my buddy.
So a lot of mind games go on in this one too. These 2 young ladies are coming through the half mile or the 800 at 2:35. That's a lot of girls' best 800, and they're just going out the first half of their race in that pace. Kind of makes some people mad.
Yeah.
Why you had to be that good? Well, top talent is top talent, folks, and I'm very proud that the Harford County coaches are doing such a good job that we're putting such talent out of this county.
Definitely. It's good to build up programs when they're young, too. So getting involved in elementary, middle school can prepare them more for where they get to the high school level.
So Travis has the shot put results. That's our first field event done here.
So for the boys shot put, finishing in 3rd place from Harford Tech, Elijah Walker with a distance of 35:03. Second place, Jordan Copeland from Havre Grace with a 35.07. And in first place from Havre Grace is Kyle Petz with a distance of 38.05. Congratulations, shot put.
Now, are they showing points next to them on their times that they scored for the team? No? Okay.
Not that I can see, no.
So I'm curious to see how they're scoring this. It's usually top 6.
One athlete I'd also like to celebrate as I'm reading the results is Alex Curry from Sea Mountain Wright. You could briefly see it, but Alex just finished his sprint event and walked immediately over to the shot put pit to throw. And Alex finished 5th place with a distance of 34 feet in the shot put.
If you don't mind, Travis, announce 6 and 5-4 for us too in that.
In 6th place is Jack Sable from Sea Mountain Wright, 30.09. 5th place, Alex Curry, 34. And in 4th place, Benjamin Mars with a distance of 34.09.
So I'm going to be excited to see this finish in the times, Travis, because I think our 2nd place finisher here hopefully will be brought to a PR, but we'll see when we get down here. But I think our 3rd place runner is running at a pretty darn good pace too. So Brielle's going to bring home the victory here. And it's not going to be her PR because her PR is outstanding. But let me see if Isabel beats that 5:27. She should beat it easily.
She's looking like it.
Oh, yeah. She took
Wow.
10 seconds off of her time. So 11 seconds. She's going to be thrilled with that. And our 3rd place finisher, too, was that Cameron Loper?
Looks like it.
Yep, she moved up a seed, and she looks like she got a good PR. Her father, Sean's been a long-time coach. Great job for all these young ladies. I don't even think I would want to ride a bike for a mile right now. So
I hopped on the treadmill and set it to 7:30 pace yesterday. I made it 3 laps.
Travis, you'll get it back. You'll get it back. You're 24. It's too late for people like me.
He's talking about old people.
To clarify, yes. Travis has no problem pointing out that his father is old. Can't beat you in much anymore, Travis. Maybe just pool table, that's it, right? I used to have him in other things that didn't take endurance, but now he's beating me in all that too. Or do I let him? That's the question.
Back to the track meet.
He doesn't believe me. By the way, this stadium is beautiful. I mean, I would have loved to have been a participant in something like this. This track is beautiful. The field is beautiful. What a great scenic look around here. Don and I were talking about that another time. I mean, you can see our baseball field off to the right, and it's just very well kept back here.
Yeah, Harford Tech is lucky. They also, I could be wrong, but it looks like they might have the biggest stands in the county too.
Yes.
So it allows us to host special events like this and not feel all crowded around other teams. So thank you so much to the Harford Tech Cobras for hosting and for having such great facilities to use.
So, Trev, why don't you start calling who's in the boys' race so we can call the start a little bit better?
Yeah. Coming up in the boys' 1,600 meter varsity race, we have Ryan Capesser representing Havre Grace, Riley Panabaker from North Harford, Samuel Chadwick from Havre Grace, Nathan Bricker from Sea Mountain Wright, Reese Conklin from North Harford, Samuel Janke from Harford Tech, Luke Pahala from Sea Mountain Wright, Jamal Edmonds from Edgewood, Justin Collins from North Harford, Tanner Carson from Harford Tech, Justin Bricker from Sea Mountain Wright, Robert Davis from Havre Grace, Michael Besser from Harford Tech, Nathan Bennett from Edgewood, and our top seed with a seed time of 4:30.7 is Darian Walters from Edgewood.
So, shout out to two people we know, Tanner Carson from Harford Tech and Luke Pahala from Sea Mountain Wright. They're championship swimmers. And it's really outstanding to see somebody good at two different fitness sports.
and individual sports to have that intrinsic motivation to keep pushing.
Can I suggest a triathlon for those two young men? All they have to do is be good at biking, right?
Now, one thing you notice from these distance events is they start on a curve. So it gives the people on the inside an advantage due to their seat time, so they're in a safe position and people don't crash over each other. But the athletes on the outside lane also have the curve to make it a little bit more fair, so they're not running a further distance from the start.
So, Travis, I just noticed on the other side of the track, you do have, when we go around the track again, a slight little hill on the other side, and you got some spectators over there as well. Track and field is a endurance event, not just in the event, Travis, but some of these young men and young ladies are they're doing 3 or 4 events.
Yep.
You mentioned the young man going from the sprint to the throw, but you have people that did the 4x8 and now they're doing the mile, and some of them might be doing the 3200 as well.
Now, to your point, I believe our top seed, Darian Walters from Edgewood, that name sounds very familiar from one of our winners from, I believe, the hurdles earlier today. So it is just so impressive to see those athletes being able. Oh, that was the anchor for the 4x8 that we saw from Edgewood.
Well, I have seen some repeat names,
Amazing.
and we do have some siblings on the team with each other as well. A couple of the top runners for Harford Tech, there's a brother and a sister combination, and I think the same thing with Edgewood. So we still have a 3-person race at the lead here. You see the second runner here is drafting off the first runner, trying to stay the proper distance behind that. You're not going to kick legs together, because that's dangerous.
Especially with track spikes.
Ah, yes. So top 6 score, we have a pack here for first 3, then we have 4, 5, 6, 7 close together. I like some of the shoes, Travis. I know you do too. In my day, we just had black or white shoes. That was it. Now they have these bright orange, these neon yellow. You would have been the one that would have taken the one that stood out the most that we could see when it was getting to dusk.
Exactly. As many eyes on me as possible.
Yeah, Mom and I had to buy the more expensive ones too, didn't we? That was a known. But the shoe matters. The shoe matters drastically. Like, people don't realize how light some of these shoes are, and even the middle distance bikes. Like, some people wear spikes in middle distance. What do you know about the difference in the spike length? Is it shorter the race, the longer the spike length?
Now, from my understanding, I could be wrong, but just basing it off of what my shoes looked like, my cross-country spikes were a little bit longer to give more, have more traction in like the mud or the grass terrain, and the track spikes were slightly shorter.
Okay.
And I also believe it's different material. The cross-country and distance spikes sometimes are metal, where the track spikes and sprint spikes are a more harder plastic.
So what you notice here is our leader put on what we call a spurt, and he took off away from the rest of the pack. So the battle for first is temporarily a one-man race, unless things go wrong, right?
We got a good race coming in behind for second. You can see on that shot a good pack of 4 athletes competing for second place as we're entering the last turn.
And even further back, you got Luke Bahala trying to sneak up from 7th place to 6th place to get that point. Now, he put this spurt on. Wow, what a good time this is going to be, Travis.
Wow.
4:34.
And an amazing time from the second athlete, too. All of them.
Up, battle for 6th place, coming down to 2 Millwright teammates. Oh, you see that? Luke pulled ahead. The other young man pulled ahead, and Luke put on one more spurt at the end. Now they give each other a celebratory hug.
That's what it's all about. You're there for your teammates. You use them to have a little competition, but at the end of the day, you're all here for the same reason. You're all here to lift each other up.
Here come our last finishers coming in. All these people should be commended. Tough race. Good job. So according to the scoreboard, Trav, 444 was first place, I think. That was impressive.
434.
434, yes.
It's amazing.
Look at that. Fourth place, Tanner Carson, 441.
Wow.
Looks like we had 5 people under 450. That is a fast race.
That's amazing.
And this is only one of the 3 divisional meets. What is UCBAC going to be like?
Fast.
Unless we have all the fastest 1,600-meter boys in this race, that was outstanding. Okay, what we're getting ready for now, folks, is across the way here, you're going to see some young ladies going on the other side of the curve because I think we're getting ready for our 4x200 varsity relay for the girls here. So I'm going to let Travis start reading off some names from Heat 1.
So from our for our 4x200 meter relay,
I guess there's
for
only
the
one
women's,
heat, yeah.
We have 4 teams competing. Havre de Grace is in lane 3, Harford Tech is in lane 4, Edgewood is in lane 5, and North Harford is in lane 6. Our athletes for Havre de Grace, our leadoff is Madison Berth, second is Amina James, third is Gabriella Perdomo, and fourth is Tamia Thompson. Representing Harford Tech, Madison Bobb, Elena Weaver, Sani Wilson, and Destiny Baker. Edgewood is Trinity Green, Sky Harris, Aaliyah Webb, and Nevaeh Hall. And for North Harford, Riley Allen, Clementine Ferguson, Elena Ramirez, and Grace McGovern.
So what I'm going to say here, Travis, is look at the times for the top 2 seats. Outstanding. 145.9, 146.9. From my experience from doing this years ago, those are 2 outstanding times. If you can get under 155, you're good. If you can get under 150, you're outstanding. So looking at some of the names on that relay, not surprising. Don't know these 2 girls' teams are in the same classification, what they are. One of them might be 1A or 2A, and the other one might be 2A or 3A. But in their classifications, they're going to be contenders.
Definitely, and it's good to have that that competition at a local level, so you can prepare throughout. excuse me, you can prepare throughout the season to have somebody to push you, so that way you're ready when you get to the regional meets and the state meets.
So what I'm looking for here, Travis, is to see if this is a 1-lap stagger or a 2-lap stagger. In some cases, what's that? You think it's 2? Okay. In some cases, the first 2 legs of this relay stay in their lanes, and then when the second leg hands off to the third leg, they're all allowed to cut in. In other instances, it's a 2-lap stagger, and you stay in your lane the whole way. So by my visual eye, this looks to me like a 1-lap stagger. Now, why is that important? Strategy. I go back to what I said before. When I got to anchor our 4x2 in indoor track, our coach put our fastest person first to give us a lead. And that way, we had clean handoffs without having to worry about people in your way.
Here we go.
So, according to seed times, this is a 2-team race. Does not mean the other 2 teams aren't fast. But I want to say, I bet you these 2 teams in this Hatem meet might be the fastest 2 in the UCBAC.
I would not be surprised. 145 and 146. Also to be separated by just under 1 second.
Right.
In a relay is incredible.
So if these third legs get the cut in, then you do have to pass on turns. Then you do have to realign for the handoffs. So we got a good race happening here. Harford Tech's in the lead. Edgewood's really close. Got your handoffs. Good clean handoffs.
Yep. And it looks like they're staying in the lane.
They might have to break in after the turn if they're allowed to break in, but let's see. So the officials that are helping out lined them up on the other side. Good handoff, clean. Little struggle in that handoff for Harford Tech, Trav. And if they don't come back, that might be the difference of the race, but we'll see.
I will say, conversely, sometimes that's all the motivation you need.
Yep.
As the Harford Tech athlete, like, let me get that back.
She is gaining slightly. Does she have enough room? This is going to be a photo finish, folks, and she overtakes her right at the line.
Wow.
That was exciting.
What a race. That is senior Destiny Baker anchoring for Harford Tech with an amazing fourth leg for the Cobras.
And the young lady from Edgewood didn't do anything wrong.
No.
She ran incredibly fast.
That's a freshman, Nevaeh Hall. Congratulations.
Okay, here we have here on the replay, you can see the lead being overtaken right in the last 15 meters.
Wow, and you also noticed great technique from Nevaeh Hall for Edgewood with that lean over the finish line. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe for track and field, the winner is determined by their torso crossing the finish line. So you'll see a lot of the sprint athletes or the sprinters or distance runners too, if they're in a close race, leaning their chest forward as they cross. So great effort from Nevaeh and great race from Harford Tech and Edgewood.
So here we come to the boys 4x2, and Travis will announce that heat as well.
For the boys 4x200 meter relay, in lane 2, we have North Harford, Christopher Ort, Brandon Barley, Chase Wiseman, and Frank DeLucia. Lane 3, Seamountain Wright, William Richardson, Long Pham, Calic Brutus, and Bruce Harrison. Lane 4 is Edgewood, Malachi Robinson, Amir Shaw, Javian Miner, and Kion Greenwood. Lane 5 is Harford Tech, Elijah Bonneau, Dominic Scott, Karan Evans, and Shamari Whitmore. And lane 6, Geyer Kusic, Dresden Chin, Gavin Johnson, and Ryden Graham.
So I like the 4x2, Travis, because now even though they did stay in the lanes, I thought it was a one-lap stagger, but it must have been 2. It might be deceiving from our distance here. So now that I look at it, I do realize it's a 2-lap stagger. And that does make for a cleaner race. But you will say that the Harford Tech coach will definitely want to clean up that last handoff because there was some difficulty there. And if you have that difficulty, there's a relay exchange zone that you have to hand off and receive the baton in that area. If you receive it outside of that area, it's a DQ. You're disqualified from the race. Now, other things that factor into it is the just the running out of your lane. If you go out of your lane, your team is DQ'd. If you hinder another person after an exchange by accidentally going into their lane, and that's why you see the officials out here with flags. If there is a violation, you'll see somebody raise a flag. For this race, there's a gentleman on the other side that has a flag up that he's waving around, and right now he's waving the white flag, meaning we're ready. Everybody's set. And that way the starter knows that we're ready. In the 4x1, you need 3 exchange judges. It's a nerve-wracking job because you're trying to watch anywhere from 4 to 8 runners coming through at the same time and doing their exchanges.
Well, that official better be ready because this race looks close. We have another Edgewood and Harford Tech matchup right away, with Edgewood having a seat time of 1:31 flat and Harford Tech having a seat time of 1:31.58.
There we go.
So here we go.
Well, I'm impressed by the times, but jealous too, Travis, because my team did a 1:32. So they are faster than us, darn it. Look at that.
Wow.
Edgewood young man is making up the stagger. And if they have a good handoff, that'll give them some good momentum. It was a good handoff there. 2 really clean handoffs. And when I say clean, folks, I mean the runner that's leaving is moving out quickly and doesn't have to break stride. Wow, Edgewood is really pouring it on these first 2 lead legs. Oh, that was a little bit of a jammed handoff there by Edgewood. Young man leaving probably could have moved out a little bit quicker, and the reason that's a problem is you can actually collide with your teammate there. And there's also one other DQ, Travis, that I failed to mention. It's obvious. You can't drop the baton.
Right. Now, we have Edgewood finishing on a strong race, and we shouldn't be too surprised, as I believe 3 of these athletes are the top 3 finishers from the 100-meter dash.
Yes.
So Edgewood with an amazing program.
To beat Harford Tech in anything is impressive. To beat them like this, look at this time. Wow, Travis. They did a 1:28. Wow, that's amazing.
That's amazing.
Okay, here's what
I want to see the Harford Tech time hit their time. They got a PR.
Yes. So I'm going to tell you right now, folks, that 1:28 is state championship level. That's amazing. Now, that means that each of these young men averaged a 22-200 with exchanges. So here's what I'm going to tell you my hunch is. This is the first time those 4 were in that relay together.
Right, you can save it for the championship.
Yes, like they've been running individual events more. They've been giving other people chances. For them to knock 3 seconds off of their time that was already impressive with this headwind to run through.
Wow, yeah.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
Yes. Now, some people will say, well, you have a wind behind your back for part of it. That is true. But the wind pushing you isn't as great as the wind hindering to you is difficult. Running into a strong headwind is really difficult. I'm impressed, Trav. I want to know. I'm going to ask Coach Diamond later. Well, I will tell you, it's the Hatem record.
Oh my goodness!
But is it the UCBAC or is it a county record?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of meet records today.
Yes. So it took him a second to catch on to that, folks. That this is the first Hatem meet. So
dad jokes from your dad.
So I think we do have something new here. The 400 also has a junior varsity race. So who's in our first heat for that, Trav?
For the girls' 400-meter junior varsity race, Heat 1, Lane 3, Caitlin Reimert from Sea Mountain Right. Lane 4, Taylor Walton from North Harford. Lane 5, Mia Cochran from Harford Tech. And Lane 6, Leanna Cortez from Sea Mountain Right.
So, Travis, you don't have to care, but Don will be proud of me for that dad joke.
Oh, my goodness.
Don loves dad jokes like that. So, this is, I'm contradicting myself because I said how hard the 800 is. This is right up there with the 800 for one of the toughest events to run. Travis said he got to do this in some relays. I don't know if you ever did an open 400 or was it just in the relays, but this is a psychologically tough race because some people will say sprint the whole thing. Well, that 10-second kid that ran the 10.9 can't run a 10.9 per 100 in a 400, or he'd be breaking a 44 and he'd be going to the Olympics. So you're literally doing 90% of your sprint pace. And you see how you can do. That last 100 meters hurts. You get over it pretty quickly, but it's a painful race. The young lady on the outside here taking it out.
Looks like Leanna Cortez from Sea Mountain Right.
But she is in the outside lane, so these other young ladies can make up some distance here on the turn. We got somebody from the inside lane here going after him. Is that Caitlin?
Another Sea Mountain Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Caitlin Reimert.
So they're throwing me off because they have two different singlets on. But I think this is the young lady on the outside is the one I met pre-meet. Said she's been battling an injury, but she's going to do her best. So I'm impressed.
Sometimes these races are good therapy for for athletes to give them a chance and see how they're feeling.
She is really fighting it hard on this. She took it out fast, and she's bringing it home. That's an outstanding time for a junior varsity race, 1:08. Good job.
Wow.
Good job, young lady.
That 1:08 time is in the second fastest heat of the varsity race.
Really?
Yep. Amazing efforts from all of them. Those are 4 great times. Congratulations.
So here we go with Heat 2.
Heat 2, the girls 400-meter junior varsity. In lane 3, Demi Madden from Edgewood. Lane 4, Sophia Pellerin from Harford Tech. Lane 5, Charlize Slowly from Edgewood. Lane 6, McKenna Tidwell from North Harford.
So going back to that race by Leanne, she doesn't have a time in the program, which means she hadn't been able to run it this year because of her injuries. So good job on the comeback there. Well, that's the thing, Travis. When I ran for Joppatown, only your top 3 got to be in the individual events at the big meets, and sometimes our 4th, 5th runners in certain events were better than other schools' first runners. So that's why I'm glad to see Coach Diamond giving these kids a chance. That's really outstanding. And that's a real good motivation for them, because then they can say, look, you would have finished 7th place in the varsity race. You work on this in the off season some, you train on your own some, and next year you might make our top 3. Here we go. I think we had one runner drop out here from Edgewood. She's taking off there on the outside.
I was just about to say the same thing. That stride for a 400 is very strong. Let's see if they can hold on.
Well, there was a learning process through running. I think you and I both would say the first time we ever ran a mile run, we regretted our pace. And it does teach you, what you can and can't do on how fast you can go out or not go out in the race.
Here we are on the second and last curve as North Harford is getting into the home stretch. We also have our Edgewood and Harford Tech athletes pulling in the middle. Got a good race.
It's a good feeling coming off that turn in the lead.
This is going to be a good time. Wow.
She knocked 7 seconds off of her seed time. She's got to be happy with that. Wow.
That's amazing. That's McKenna Tidwell out of North Harford, freshman, dropping 7 seconds in the 400-meter race. Congratulations.
She looked tough. I like the way she ran that. She was not afraid of the pushing the pace there. So now we have our girls varsity race.
Up next, girls 400-meter varsity, Heat 1. In lane 2, Christina Venegas from Harford Tech. Lane 3, Claire Keenan from North Harford. Lane 4, Megan Fatigue from Havre de Grace. Lane 5, Daniela Florin Garcia from Sea Mountain Right. And lane 6, Maribela Sanchez from Harford Tech.
Okay. These are the ones.
Fatigue is an ironic name for a track athlete.
Maybe she doesn't have any.
Exactly. She was born with it.
Okay. It's a good battle going here for 1-2. It's basically the stagger is the distance between them right now. So who pushes the pace here on this last 200? Looks like our outside lane picked it up a little bit there.
We'll be able to see when they get around this curve. The inside lane is pushing it too.
Excellent.
We got a good finish down here down the stretch. Harford Tech, I believe that's Christina, finishing strong. Good race.
So that first finisher,
Oh, I misread the name. I apologize.
Maribela Sanchez, is a senior.
Those are great times.
Yes.
8-second drop. Looks like a 6-second drop. Great races.
Okay, our second heat of the girls varsity.
Lining up heat 2. In lane 2, Mallory McCartney from North Harford. Lane 3, Sarah Saunders from Sea Mountain Right. Lane 4, Trinity Green from Edgewood. Lane 5, Tahira Fowler from Havre Grace. And lane 6, Destiny Walters from Edgewood. Seen a lot of the Walters family today from Edgewood.
Okay, here we go here. Good start. Outside 3 lanes taking it out pretty quick here.
Looks like the potentially Sarah Saunders from Sea Mountain Right is pushing the pace on the inside.
She
like you said.
She did, but as soon as the young lady from her outside felt her coming, she took off.
And look at that. Tahira Fowler, Havre Grace, is pushing it into the curve. And to be on an inside lane. Let's see how this pays off.
Doing a good job pumping her arms. Your arms carry your legs at the end of a race. You really need to pump them.
Now that's a championship meet stride right there.
Good
Great
job.
finish.
Now, one of those girls in the junior varsity race, her times have been competitive with both of these heats near the top. So we have one more heat of that age, that girls varsity. This will be the ones for the championship here.
Final heat, heat 3. Lane 2, Sabrina Knox from Havre Grace. Lane 3, Madeline Smick from North Harford. Lane 4, Lillian Budelis from Sea Mountain Right. Lane 5, Olivia O'Connor from Harford Tech. And lane 6, Jamira Perry from Edgewood.
So here's what I want you to do here. I want you to tell me the difference between our first and second seed here, Travis. It's close, isn't it?
Very close. The top seed is Lillian from Sea Mountain Right with a 104.14. And the second seed is Olivia from Harford Tech with a 104.84. So 0.7 is separating first and second in this race. So keep an eye on lane 4 and 5 for a tight race.
I'm going to say that you're going to see some PRs here because think about this. You've been through this some. Spring is supposed to be warming up. How cold was March and early April this year? It was
too cold.
It was too cold. It was windy. So now we're getting some warmer weather. Now we have some wind gusts today. Seems like to be calming down a little bit right now. But like you run better when the legs are warmer and you feel better. Obviously it's a conditioning sport, so you're gaining stamina, endurance, and strength. And as the season goes by, but some of these girls are running a 104. They might be breaking a minute in regionals. So I'm very curious to see how these top heats improve.
What a race we have here. Look at that pack.
Yeah, they're grouped together really tightly, which in a tough event like this makes it motivational to be able to, finish through that last 50 meters when your body is telling you this hurts too much. Not trying to discourage people from doing track and field. It's not a real painful hurt, but it's definitely, finishing that last part, you got to gut it out a little bit. And lady from Havre Grace pulling in the lead here. Oh, we got a little comeback coming here last minute, but too late.
Amazing. Just a consistent stride the whole way through from Sabrina Knox out of Havre Grace, our 400-meter champion. Amazing.
So now we have a boys junior varsity heat, Travis.
Yep. Boys 400-meter junior varsity. Heat 1, lane 3, Christopher Vitello from Havre Grace. Lane 4, Jack Hamilton from North Harford. Lane 5, Ashton Housley from Havre Grace. And lane 6, Carden Tran from Sea Mountain Right.
So junior varsity doesn't have to mean 9th, 10th grade. It can mean any grade. They're just considering these to be the people that didn't make the varsity heats they wanted to give other people a chance. The young man in North Harford on the inside is really taking off here. Lane 4. Let's see if that works for him or works against him. I say that with some teaching moments here, folks, because we don't know if every one of these young men and young ladies has done these events 10 times this year, or they've done it 2 or 3 times. And they could be just learning these events. The coach might have needed half the season to figure out what some of these first-timers can do well. And, you could be running the mile run, and you could tell the coach, can I try the 800 or 400? And they might find out that you're better at that than you were the mile.
Well, this North Harford athlete came in at a seat of a 58 second, and boom, right on their time.
Yep.
Now, to your point about the different strategies of the races and what you can take away from it as a spectator or an athlete, you can take a lesson either way. If you go out like this athlete did, you hit your time, awesome. That's a strategy you can stick with. If you burn out on that last turn, that's a lesson you learn.
Yes.
These are things that are hard to know or hard to acknowledge as an athlete, and I'm speaking out of experience. In the moment, it's tough to know and admit your coach is right, or your father. But as you get older and being on the coaching side of things, it's really awesome that every race can be a learning moment. Heat 2, Jonathan Kumur from Harford Tech, Logan Birchfield, North Harford, Ayasubomi Awasumusi, I apologize, from Edgewood, Carter Bayless from Harford Tech, and Olomeaua Akinyose from Edgewood.
Very good. You could do it much better than me. That's why I'm letting you read them. Travis is currently a teacher, and he is much better at learning how to pronunciate names than his old dad, which he clearly pointed out early, emphasizing the old part. Okay, let's see here in this finish, Trav.
This is a good race. He's taking it out.
This is a kid that wants to make the A relay.
Yep.
Coach, look what I can do.
See these times coming in. Wow. That's a big drop. That's a 3-second drop. That's a great race from Carter Bayless. Good job.
Carter was our second seed in that. Excellent job. Looks like a lot of good times on that one.
Yeah.
Okay,
all
so
around.
now we're gonna remember that time, Travis, and see how it compares to the varsity. We're not doing this to pick at the varsity. We're doing this to commend these people that are getting a chance at the JV race. It's very, very intriguing. Okay, boys varsity first race. Just
here we have Heat 1 of the men's 400-meter dash. It looks like we have Kyle Sims from North Harford on the inside lane, and it looks like Caden Duncan from Havity Grace on the outside lane.
We had 3 other people that were supposed to be in a race, but they, for some reason, aren't in the race.
That could also be Chase Wiseman from North Harford.
So
We'll see
luckily,
when they come on the curve.
we have the board that'll tell us when they finish. I'm impressed, Travis, with the technology. They have something that's telling them right away who the kids are. Oh, good battle here. Nice time.
Good race.
That was Kyle Sims, and that was Caden Duncan. 54, excellent job. He got a PR by 2 seconds. Okay, Heat 2.
Heat 2. In lane 2, Evan Skinner, Sea Mountain Right. Lane 3, Tyler Lamont, North Harford. Lane 4, Jace Miller, Harford Tech. Lane 5, Akwasi Amponsim from Edgewood. And lane 6, Evan Riley from Sea Mountain Right.
Okay.
I believe I teach Akwasi's younger siblings at Old Post Road.
So we will see the people that finish first in this heat will probably get top 6 and earn points for their team. And we haven't talked a lot, Trav, about the team competition, but it is fun. You know, it shows you the depth of your team. One team might be great at distance. Another team might be great at sprints. Somebody else might be great at hurdles and field events. Somebody of you might be more of a well-balanced team. But I did talk to Jerry Henderson before the meet, and he was hoping that his boys had a chance to compete with Harford Tech for the boys competition. Doesn't mean the other two teams aren't, but hopefully we can get some results for that later.
This is a great race from these gentlemen in Heat 2. That looks like a fast start from all 4 of them. I'll be excited to see these times.
So I'll have Travis look up some more event results soon, and then we'll also see if they have any team results in that as well. And that's the way we'll be able to tell you. Looks like a good finish here for the young man from Edgewood. 54.55.
Great race.
That's outstanding.
These are all close races so far. People are dropping time. This is exciting.
So the coaches will give their bodies a little bit of a recovery, Travis, after this meet, and then they'll train somewhat, but then they've got UCBACs next week. So you have a week to recover from one championship meet to another. You can't do nothing. You can't do too much. It's somewhere in between. Okay, did we read this one already?
Heat 3. In lane 2, Amir Shaw from Edgewood. Lane 3 is Ryder Herman from Harford Tech. Lane 4, Landon Krebs, Sea Mountain Right. Lane 5, Camden Neary, Harford Tech. And lane 6, Jonah Buckelman from Haverty Grace.
So let's see, this time for our first fastest seed is 3 seconds faster than the other ones for Landon Krebs. I could have swore there was a Krebs girl that played soccer for Sea Mountain Right. Wondering if it's the same family. Let's see if he takes this race away or if anybody can compete with him.
Now, as I was reading Landon's name, I recognized that name from last year. Now I'm seeing just why that name stood out. Seated at a 52nd. Let's see how the time stands today.
Well, that was actually 2 years ago because last year we didn't do the meet. It was 2 years ago, so this is how much he's improved in 2 years.
Wow.
Let's see, 59.4. Now, I will tell you this, Travis. We talk about threshold times. Somebody get a Jonah Buckelman. Yeah, we know Jonah Buckelman.
Wow.
Used to swim for Jamie at Fountain Green, or my daughter.
Great race. And there's a shot of our 400-meter champion. Congratulations to Landon Krebs at a Sea Mountain Right with an unofficial time of 50.94.
So I will tell you right now that he will have a goal of breaking 50. Like,
oh yeah,
when you're in that 50 point something, you're just,
it just eats you up.
You're just dying to do that, and I would bet that he would do that in the next 2 or 3 championship meets. Windy today. He'll be pushed to the line in the other meets even more. Okay, so what do we have here, Travis? Our girls 3,200?
Yep, coming up coming up next is the girls 3,200 meter varsity race. Representing Sea Mountain Right, Ashley Heinbaugh, Lacey McGraw from North Harford, Chloe Manzari from North Harford, Elena Korfman from Haverty Grace, Natalie Burns from Sea Mountain Right, Catherine Gottfredson from Edgewood, Caroline Bates from Harford Tech, Skylar Byrne from Harford Tech, Madeline Coyle from North Harford, Brielle Diener from Sea Mountain Right, and Isabel Devos from Harford Tech.
So I got to give Coach Diamond a shout out here, Travis. When he first came to Harford Tech, he made them good at sprints, hurdles, jumps. Now they're good at distance running too. And there's got to be coaches in the rest of the county and other coaches around the state who are going, unfair.
Yeah, the evil empire, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, you're going to hold up all the events? So you're going to tell me now that they have good throwers, too? I mean, this isn't fair.
Well, speaking of, the results have come in for the girls' varsity discus. For the girls' varsity discus, in 6th place, Mercy Carrington from Haverty Grace. In 5th place, Olivia Luke from Harford Tech. In 4th place, Aaliyah Huddleston from North Harford. In 3rd place, Nicole Phillip from Harford Tech. In 2nd place, Jordan Miller from Sea Mountain Wright. And our champion from Harford Tech, London Youngblood, with a distance of 106 feet.
Outstanding. Very good. To give you an idea how hard it is to throw the discus, you're not just throwing a heavy object that's shaped like a flying saucer, but you're throwing it the reverse of a frisbee. You don't spin it that way, you spin it the opposite way. Your last finger to leave the discus is the pointer finger. And you have to spin to get your body centrifugal force. You have to time the release of it so you're not throwing it to the net to your right and your left. There is an inbounds and an out of bounds for the discus. So it takes a lot of skill. Are some of the throwers in the discus taller, longer, bigger, stronger? Yes, but not always. I had a girl from John Carroll years ago that was a softball star, sprint hurdler star for me. And she was this tall, skinny girl, but she was strong. And she had good coordination. She won the state championship for me. So, can't judge a book by its cover, I guess you could say. So we got 2 or 3 different races here, Travis. We have the leaders taking it out. You have another pack settling in further back. And the seed times will tell you that our top seed, Isabel Devos, is the favorite with 11:19 coming in. But Brielle Diener from Sea Mountain Wright's doing 11:37, and our 3rd seed, Madison Coyle, with a 12:12. Those are all outstanding times.
Definitely. To even be in the conversation of the top seeds at a championship meet, you know that those athletes and those coaches are already doing something right. But then when you look closer at the times, it's just amazing.
Some of these young ladies and the young men to come, they're running 2 back-to-back miles faster than most people can ever think to run a mile.
Yeah.
You know,
It really is incredible.
They're sort of like robots a little bit in that way. It's like, you know, if anybody's ever watched a marathon and you see these people averaging a 5, 6, or 7 minute mile, you're thinking, okay, I could have kept up with them for the first half mile.
Well, that's why they have the pacers at those the higher level meets. You'll see. Do they call them the rabbit? Yeah.
The 5,000, 3,000, 10,000. Yeah.
To just have somebody out on there to set the pace. You actually mentioned this during the 400 meter, I believe. But at these championship meets, when all the teams come together at the end of the season, when the athletes are the most prepared, it gives some of these athletes a unique opportunity to see competition that they haven't seen at regular season meets.
Right.
So in the case of the 2 girls in this race, we have Brielle and Isabel, who are coming in at 11:19 and 11:37. Brielle might not have seen people have faster seed times all season.
Right.
And it's hard to motivate yourself and to keep that consistent pace in a 8-lap race when you're racing technically alone. I would not be surprised if we see a PR out of our 2nd place seed for that reason, because she can look right ahead and see Isabel and say, you know what, she runs an 11:19. I'm going to stay close to that. So I might break 11:30 today, or we'll see.
How many times in your high school career, I'll give you percentages because you bounced between the 800 and the 3,200. What percentage do you think you did of the 3,200?
When I was an underclassman, I did the 2 mile a lot. Then I focused more on the mile my junior year, and then my senior year, I actually, ironically, did a lot of the 2-mile and the 400. So I was either going the shorter distances or the longest distance.
Mm-hmm. So I would have never wanted to see this event, Travis. I became I became decent at distance running, but that was just my competitive spirit. My short little legs did not do well for high hurdles or 3,200. But
Don't get me wrong, I never wanted to, but sometimes that's just the card you're dealt. And Coach Mickey, if you're watching, it was an honor, but the 400 was a lot more fun than those longer races.
So I'm going to just say that my high school freshman year, our coach had us do time trials, like a lot of coaches do, see what you're good at. I used to do well running the scenics and soccer practices and the 2 laps around the backstops and so forth in the soccer field. So my coach, I didn't know anything about my track and field team. I didn't know that the sophomore and junior class was outstanding. So I went out there and the JV lacrosse team was in the infield practicing, and I wanted to impress the girls that were in my grade. And I took off, and I didn't realize I was running against a state championship cross-country runner. I found out in about the 3rd lap.
Yep.
When he laughed at me as he ran by me, I was like, oh, I guess that wasn't good pacing. Yeah, these distance runners are a breed of their own. Travis ran cross-country, ran some road races. I ran some. This is different. Cross-country, you have hills, you have paths, you have uneven terrain. That's the difficulties of that. This, it's a flat surface going in a circle, but you have people trying to hold you off on curves and other.
Well, I can comment on that a little bit. My own personal experience, the difference between 2-mile in an open field during a cross-country race and the difference between a 2-mile on the track is on the track it is monotonous.
Mm-hmm.
And it is difficult to find that motivation. And honestly, weirdly, I think it's harder to find a strategy because you settle in, and it's so much easier to get complacent on the track than on a cross-country course where you can kind of map out, like, okay, when I get into the woods, I'm going to do this. When I come out of the woods, I'm going to do that. You can strategize on the track lap to lap, but then implementing it once your body is telling you no, these athletes, I could not commend them enough for their determination, their work ethic, and the strategic side of these distance races.
Well, one thing that the top runners do in the 3,200, it sounds a little bit evil, but they target anybody they can to lap. And they look at them and they say, I got to chase down that person. I have to chase down this person. And people see a person getting lapped in the 3,200 and they think that's bad. That's not as bad as you think it is. These top runners are just that good. So they might be beating you by a minute and a half for that lap or a minute and 20 seconds. Well, that's no different than a 100 dasher getting beat by 2 seconds. That's the difference. You know, it's a 10% difference in the race, and that's all it really is. The other thing I learned, Travis, and I don't know if you and your friends did this, but when I ran cross country, I didn't run cross country, but our coach made us run the cross country course, was the dirty tricks that the people would do on each other, like pulling a branch back and trying to hit the person behind them. Were your friends nicer than that? Because mine weren't.
I have no experience with branches, I gotta say.
Or you didn't know you had a log to jump over?
But I was just about to say, sometimes when you would turn a corner in a cross-country course, you weren't always sure where you're going.
Right.
And fortunately, I never got lost myself. But I know a few of my teammates that they turned down the wrong path, and suddenly you accidentally added a minute and a half to your time, and about a quarter mile to your race.
Yes. So we should be nearing the finish. If I'm looking at the clock here, based on what our leader is, should be on their last lap, and we will notice that very soon. And you will have differences in time from one race to another. Sometimes you race the clock, sometimes you just race your opponents.
Definitely, and that's what we were talking about earlier with you can use your the people you're racing against to your advantage without knowing, while still knowing that might not be attainable.
Yes.
For this example, we have Isabel, excuse me, coming in at 11:19 with a 20 and 40-second gap to the people behind her.
Right.
That doesn't mean they can't utilize Isabel to their advantage. Here we have her coming down the home stretch.
Yeah, she's not going to be getting her best time, but she didn't need to today. So she got 11:23, which is an outstanding time, but she might have ran that 10:31 at a bigger invitational or something. And knowing her coach, she was probably in big invitationals this year. So here we are. Our second place finisher came through. Brielle Diener with 11:38. And we should have some of our next finishers coming through as well soon. This is one of the more confusing races, Travis, in that you don't know whether some of them are finishing or they have another lap yet. And believe it or not, folks, we have lap counters too. That's their job, is to make sure somebody doesn't actually try to cross the finish line of an 8-lap race in their 7th lap, because they can get confused. We've actually had people try to run an extra lap before, or in swimming, swim an extra 2 laps. So you do have counters, and it's their job to do this. I think this might be our 3rd place finisher coming in here, but I could be wrong. We're North Harford, let's see. Yep.
Madeline Coyle from North Harford Hawks.
So I talked about the wind, Travis. This definitely impacts a race like this. Makes it tougher to get top times.
Definitely. The longer you're out there, the more you're feeling it, and the more your legs are feeling it. As you've been mentioning, you don't really realize it until it's too late, unfortunately.
Yeah.
With these environmental factors, you race your normal race, and then you realize that you still have a lap left, and you feel like you should have been done by now.
Mm-hmm.
But when the wind and the environment is fighting you, it's gonna be different times than you're used to.
So Travis, do we have any other results that have popped up yet for the running events or individual events that we can recap real quick?
Yes. So we already shared the boys shot put and the girls discus. Some other field results that we have for the girls high jump. In 5th place, we have Ava Seeley from North Harford. In 4th place, we have Logan Seeley from North Harford. In 3rd place, Malaya Robinson from Harford Tech. In 1st place, Brooke Jeffers from Harford Tech. And in 2nd place, Brooke Jeffers from Harford Tech. And in 1st place, Maya Haney from Sea Mountain Wright.
What was her jump, does it say?
Correction. All of our top 4s actually cleared 4:04.
4-4? Okay.
4-4. So it looks like we currently are in a live tie of the top 4 finishers for the high jump.
So we sort of recapped some of the running events, but, we will see if we get any team scores. So what does that say so far out of 6 events, Trav? Is that girls or boys?
It looks like, I think this is combined so far, actually. Boys, excuse me. So currently, as the standings show, in 3rd place, we have Sea Mountain Wright with 23 team points. In second place, Harford Tech with 36 points. And in first place, we have Edgewood High School with 45 points. For the women's, in third place, we have Sea Mountain Wright with 16 points. Edgewood is in second place. Oh, we just got a live update after the 3,200. Sea Mountain Wright is in third place with 24 points. Edgewood High School is in second place with 31 points. And Harford Tech High School is in first place with 60 points.
So one of the nice parts of coaching Travis has to do with his swimmers who just came by the booth to say hi. Two of his senior captains, Ellie Hansen and Luke Wahala. Will they remember us when you're old, Trav? I'm already old. When you're old, they're going to remember you.
Well, we'll see, I guess. Hopefully I made a good impression.
And let's go here with the 3,200, Trav.
Lining up for the boys varsity 3,200 meters. We have Jackson Rolker from Havre Grace, Dalton Karpus from Havre Grace, Ryan Capesser from Havre Grace, Luke Bednarek from Harford Tech, Caleb Quinn from Harford Tech, Asher Bolin, Sea Mountain Wright, Dawson Burnett Paul from Edgewood, Oliver Napton, Sea Mountain Wright, Nicholas Garino, Edgewood, James Rose, Edgewood, Noah Hussam, North Harford, Walter Scarborough, North Harford, Kevin Roeder, Harford Tech, Bryson King, Sea Mountain Wright, and our top seed from North Harford with a time of 10:31.9, Jacob Gestel.
So you got 3 top seeds here, all under 11 minutes, Travis. 10 seconds between top seed and second seed, so let's see how this plays out.
It should be an exciting race down the stretch. Like we were talking about during the girls' race, the ability for these athletes to utilize each other, to push each other, having a pack of a difference of only 15 seconds. 15 seconds is not a long time in a distance race, to your point. So if those 3 can pull away, and maybe even a few others that are pushing themselves for a PR, hopefully they can carry themselves to some best times.
Yeah, this could be a good race here. We got some public address people announcing some things over the speaker. So what I like about having this clock so visible for us, Travis, is we can see the pace at each lap here and see what kind of pace they're on. So let me explain something about, well, Travis, let me see if you can do this. Have you been in the race? Explain the difference between the fast-paced races and people trying to break them, and how much that maybe bothered you as a runner, how annoying it would be, or if the race was slower and more tactical when it comes down to a kick.
There's definitely those are definitely 2 completely different approaches that you'll see a lot. I actually noticed that earlier. I believe it was one of the 400 races, where it seemed like the whole heat kind of collectively decided to kick at the 200. They kind of went out at a more moderate speed, and then they let their spurt speed take into the finish line. Other races, we've had teams completely go for it in the beginning, like you said, or groups, I should say, packs in the races. Personally, I liked to push the pace and, for lack of a better word, survive the end of the race. I was willing to kind of go for it in the beginning and struggle to finish. Sometimes it didn't go my way. Sometimes it didn't go my team's way. But I think a lot of coaches would agree that they like to see their athletes put everything they have into it. And sometimes those more tactical races, while they can create a more exciting race, it doesn't really show the athlete's full potential. So if they hold on to they hold on to their effort or their speed or whatever they have during the first half of the race, we're not going to see everything that they have by the end of it. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see what these runners come in as they're finishing up their 3rd lap.
So what you have a lot, and I hate to be this way, but the top seed can dictate what they want to do. If they feel like I can push the pace and break the people's spirit behind me, I'm going to break my pace I'm going to go a 11-minute. I'm going to go a 10-minute 3,200 pace. I know I'm not going to do a 10-minute 3,200, but I know that I can handle the pain more than the other people. So I'm going to break the bottom 8 people in the first half mile. Then I'm going to break the next 5. Then the 3 that are with me in this pack, I know I can't out sprint 2 of them. So I can't leave it till the end. I've got to break them with a lap to go, 2 laps to go. We see the same thing in swimming, so you got the psychological battles. If the fastest seed knows they're the fastest sprinter in a group and they can beat everybody in the last 200, then they don't mind if it's a slower tactical race because I'm just going to out sprint you in the end. So it's a very interesting concept.
We still have that pack of 3 leaders right out front. They're staying in their spots too.
Is it the 3 we expected? North Harford, Simone Wright, Harford Tech. Looks like it. And you see different styles of running, folks. You see some people look more relaxed, some people look more labored. It doesn't always mean what's going to happen in the result. I have seen people that look like they were laboring from the first lap, and you think they look like they're hurting too much. And they win the whole thing.
Those are the hardest workers. I really, truly believe that. I had some teammates myself that no matter how much we worked on our form at practice, it just didn't always come together. And you would think at some point the people with the better form would kind of break away or better strategies. But I really, truly believe that it's so much mental that comes into it with these athletes.
It's like our North Harford runner wants to push the pace and try to break them a little bit.
Appears we just had an unintentional flyover over the heat, over this
meet here.
This meet.
You didn't know I called for the Blue Angels to come here, Travis?
Harford County Air Show.
You didn't think I had that much pull. I'm really offended. So
Brought to you by HarfordTV.
Yes. Is this the, I think this is the end of the 5th lap, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll have to see here. I'd be finishing my 800 now, folks. Maybe not, I know. I might have exaggerated that the wrong way.
Now, just a reminder for those watching, the runners in our top 3 and top 2 that are shown, we have Jacob Gestel out of North Harford and Bryson King out of Sea Mountain Wright. Just behind them out of frame is Kevin Roeder from Harford Tech. That gets a good shot of all 3 of our athletes that are top seeds, really taking control of this race.
So while we have a chance, I'm going to explain the upcoming meets and how track and field works. So during the regular season, and your coach did this, Travis, you had a combination of dual and tri meets, and then you had invitationals. And some of the coaches send their better runners and throwers and jumpers to the invitationals to be really challenged. You're only allowed a certain amount of meets per person. Then you come down to now the Hatem, Tidings, and Susquehanna meets. That's like your divisional championship meet. Then we'll have the UCBAC championships with all 15 teams from Harford and Cecil County. People, coaches and athletes take pride in all of them. After that's over, then you have regionals. Regionals in states are based on your school's population. So your 4A are the top 25% populated schools in that sport, and so on, 3A, 2A, 1A. In regionals, it used to be the top 4 in each event made states. I was informed now that it's the top 2 in regionals, then the next best 8 times overall. So that gets you 2 from 4 regions to give you 2 times 4 is 8. Next best 8 times make it. Now, some of the coaches and girl athletes downstairs told me before the meet, you also qualify for states on time now. I love that. Why do I love that? Because what happens if you are the best 1,600 runner in the state and you are sick for regionals? Well, you've already qualified on time. I think that's outstanding.
I agree. That's the most fair. It puts the best
Yes.
athletes to have an opportunity to showcase themselves at the biggest meet.
So I think we're starting for our bell lap here.
It looks like it. Top threes should be preparing for that last kick.
We need somebody to ring the bell for us, Trav. Like they do sometimes, and at swim meets. So we do have our top seed doing a surge here, a spurt to try to break them. I kind of described that. Do we really want to go down to the last 50 meters? He doesn't want it to. But I'm pretty impressed with how close the other two have held so far. It looks like the young man from Simeon Wright is thinking about going after him again. Let's see if he does.
It'll be interesting. Those top three, we got Jacob, Bryson, and Kevin. They're gonna be happy with their placements today. Hopefully their times.
Again, I hope they get PRs, but this is a hard day to get a PR in a distance event.
One thing I know is that clock's going to be motivating them.
Here we go here for our first place finisher. Looks like Jacob Chestel from North Harford held his seed. Our second and third finisher finished right around their PRs, Trav. Excellent job all the way around.
That was amazing. We have our top three finishers: Jacob Gestel, 10:40, Bryson King, 10:44, and Kevin Roeder with a PR of 10:46.
I think we might also get some other PRs here, but we'll see. James Rose. We have Noah Harsung at 11:09, right around his seed time.
That was a great race from James Rose. He was seated 6th place with 11:15, freshman out of Edgewood, finishing in 4th place today.
Well, not surprising with Jerry Henderson as his coach.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry's an excellent distance coach. He pushes his athletes, but he's very encouraging.
Yeah, James Rose with an 8-second drop.
Well, to be running that fast as a freshman, he's got quite a future ahead of him.
Definitely. Another thing to point out, I know we just mentioned Jerry Henderson. If you see when you are looking at the finish line, you might see a red shirt and a blue shirt running back and forth across the field. That is Coach Henderson and the Sea Mountain Wright coach cheering on, coaching their runners during the race. You'll oftentimes see the infield more crowded than the stands sometimes, with teammates and coaches cheering them on.
Here comes Jerry on our screen right now, walking down the infield here with a red shirt and a black hat. Travis, I know this from experience, not nearly as good of a runner as Jerry Henderson or Donnie Mickey, but you'd be surprised the mileage a coach gets in during a track meet.
Oh, I believe it. I would think that all the time. Watching the two of them specifically, and just I'm using these two as an example because I have the most experience with them. Watching them run back and forth between the 200 marks every race, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that a couple minutes ago, that, you know what, coaching track might be fun. And I was humbled very quickly watching their endurance.
You'd be great at it. I did the same thing, but I would go from the corner of the start line to the corner over there, and I'd be running 100 back and forth across, and I'd get the next day, I'm like, why am I sore? I didn't run. Oh, yes, I did. And then I ran down to the long jump, and I talked to some kids, and then I ran down here. So, and those two coaches train with their athletes. Mm-hmm. Not every distance coach runs with their runners, but some of them do. You would do that, right, Trav?
Yeah.
Try to keep up with your top runners running 10-minute 3,200?
Totally.
Or would you pull my move? I got to go over and check on the long jumpers now. You guys finish without me. That's a good way to do it. So let's talk about this next race, Travis. They're already set up and they're almost ready to go. So tell us the first heat of the girls 300 varsity hurdles.
Heat 1, Sasha Taylor from Edgewood in lane 3, and Finley Batten from Havre Grace in lane 5.
So we're going 300 meters over, I think, 10 hurdles, and there was a guy named Edwin Moses years ago in USA Track and Field. He was the best 400 hurdler in the world for many years, and he had it down to a science, like 20 steps between every hurdle. I tried that. At our level, you're talking about getting your steps down to the first 4 hurdles maybe, and then after that, you hope for the best. So we have a good start here by the young lady in Edgewood, really taking off here strong.
Yeah.
Looking like, wondering if she can hold that pace because she's really doing a fast pace here.
And for our viewers, when they get to that curve that they're passing through right now, that's the midpoint for the 300-meter hurdles. This race starts on the back home stretch of the back straightaway. They go around the one curve, and then they finish strong on the bleacher side where they're finishing up right now.
Let's see if she can beat her seed time. I think it came in at a 1:01. She dropped 6 seconds.
Wow.
If I'm correct on the one she had. Is she the 1:01?
Yep.
Yes.
Now that time, the unofficial time of 55, that currently puts her as a top 8 finisher if these seed times hold. So excellent showing from Sasha Taylor out of Edgewood.
How many heats do we have of this?
4 heats total.
Okay.
Coming up, we have Heat 2. There's a good shot of our finishers. Congratulations, Sasha and Finley. Heat 2, Logan Seeley out of North Harford, Allison Knott out of North Harford, and Parisha Shrestha out of Sea Mountain Right.
Little stumble there over that hurdle. There's 3 factors to this, Travis. Your takeoff, you're actually going over the hurdle, and you're landing. And that sounds very simplified, but it's all difficult. You're not supposed to just land after the hurdle. You're supposed to keep running. And you're not supposed to jump the hurdle. You'll see less of the jumping at this level than you will other. Now we got some speed coming up here on the outside. We got the inside trying to hold off. Pretty tight finish for a 300 hurdles race.
This could be another best time.
56. Excellent.
Great race from Logan Seeley out of North Harford, dropping 3 seconds from her original best time, finishing with a time of 56 seconds. Awesome race from Parisha from Sea Mountain Right as well. The clock changed, but I believe that was also a PR.
Okay, heat 3. It's getting even faster, folks.
Heat 3, 300-meter hurdles. In lane 1, Aaron Lyons from Sea Mountain Right. Lane 3, Jamira Perry from Edgewood. Lane 4, Sari Palkovitz from Havre Grace. Lane 7, Lola Sampedro from North Harford.
And we have these seed times range within 2 3/4 seconds of each other. They're bunched up right now. Pretty even. Inside lanes are starting to pull ahead slightly here. See the timing and the technique.
Now, throughout the meet, we've been pointing out the step count for hurdles, and that's why you might notice some of these hurdlers doing more of a stride strategy than kind of quick steps. They want to keep a longer stride to keep their step count.
And the young lady from Edgewood felt Havre Grace girl coming on her shoulder, and she sped up and flew over that second to last hurdle.
That is senior Jamira Perry out of Edgewood with a 2-second time drop, dropping down into 52.76. Congratulations.
Yeah, they're all dropping time. This is great. Great to see.
Now our final heat of the women's 300-meter hurdles. In lane 1, Elena Weaver, Harford Tech. Lane 3, Destiny Baker, Harford Tech. Lane 5, Sunny Wilson, Harford Tech. And lane 7, Zainab Adaramilan from Edgewood.
So this was one of my favorite events coaching, Travis. We have 3 times at 50, 50, and 53, and that's very good and very competitive. Destiny seed time, 44.74. That's just amazing. I remember when my girl, Amy Gessinger from John Carroll, ran a 45 flat to break the county record. So if this young lady does not already have the county record, she's got to be challenging it. And she's a 2-time state champion. Nice form. You do not see their top of their head rising much, Trav, when they go over the hurdle. That's the mark of a good hurdler. They're gliding right over it.
Wow. That is incredible.
In a windy day, not being pushed all the way to the line, and she still runs a 45.39. She's amazing.
Congratulations to our finishers in our top heat and our champion for this meet, Destiny Baker out of Harford Tech. Congratulations.
So now we're going on to the boys 400 hurdles, and the hurdle crew should all be going around to raise the hurdles. So here's where you hope Coach Diamond has help. I see somebody directly in front of me raising them, so that's good. It looks like a person at each station. And hopefully somebody on the back side of the track is helping Coach Diamond so he doesn't have to do too many of them.
This is the point in the meet where people are going home and the volunteers are fewer than the beginning of the meet.
That goes coach to coach, Travis. I was in between. If I had an athlete who was, I got a big paper to write, got a big test tomorrow, or I have to head to a job, I would let them leave, but I truly wanted my athletes to stay and cheer for their teammates. But that's harder to do when some of these kids work part-time jobs and deal with other things.
Part-time athletes, full-time students.
Yes.
It's such a tricky lifestyle to balance. And
well, you've done the same thing with some of your swimmers. You've mostly asked them to stay, but if they came up to you and said, I'm really behind on this, project, in a rare occasion, you would let them leave. Track and field athletes are allowed to do 4 events just like swimmers are in a meet. Sometimes some people had to stay because they were an alternate for a relay. And in this case, you cannot replace a person in a championship meet in an individual event, but you can replace people in a relay if somebody gets injured or sick. I'd have to find out about the track rules. You have a certain amount of time to do that at. Are you allowed to replace in meet for a relay in swimming if somebody gets sick?
yes, as long as you're prepared before.
Okay.
All the coaches have a list of alternates that can participate. Now coming up, we have the boys 300-meter hurdles. In Heat 1, we have Troy Brandenburg from Haverty Grace. And in lane 5, Ian Lamont from North Harford. And it looks like we have just Ian Lamont from North Harford today.
This is a hard thing to do. You've seen it in a rare swimming moment, Trav, and a rare track and field moment. Got to run by yourself.
It's the hardest thing you could do.
Oops, he missed time that hurdle. He's going back and going over it. Good job. Like the perseverance. If you are not at the hurdle with the right step and you feel like you're new to it and you're not confident going over with the other leg, it's a very daunting challenge. He's much better at going over with his right leg than his left leg, and he's more confident with it. Great job, buddy. I like it. So running by yourself, tough day, good job.
And to still finish with a 53.7. I mean, only a few seconds off of a PR, running alone, and correcting yourself with the proper form. That's exactly what every coach wants to see out of their athletes.
So Heat 2,
Heat 2, we have Connor Berth from Havre de Grace, Tyler Martin from Edgewood, and Alex Curry from Sea Mountain Wright. Here we see Alex Curry going over the hurdles. We've seen Alex in a sprint event, in a throwing event, and now in a hurdle event.
Do I hear decathlete here? That's what I'd be looking for. I'd be looking for putting him into multi events because he's a strong kid and has speed. Got a low off step on that one. He's feeling the fatigue coming in right now. The Havre de Grace runner trying to challenge him to the finish. Depends on who goes over his hurdle better. And yep, hit the last hurdle. That's frustrating. But that is a multi-talented athlete right there.
And great finish, great race from Connor Berth. Full second PR.
So now we're going into the 44s and 43s on seed times, Trav. Who we got in Heat 3?
Heat 3, Anthony Frank out of Sea Mountain Wright, Bubba Tolson from Sea Mountain Wright, Jeremiah Smith from Edgewood, and Landon Priest from Havre de Grace.
So I'm going to talk about this ahead of time as this race has started, but we have a gentleman coming up in the last heat, Corey Reevy. He's got a seed time of 38.54.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
outstanding. Had a young man named Terry Vale from my days at coaching the Bel Air boys track team, and he won state championships running times like that. So this young man has to be competitive at states. Seeing all these times, Travis, makes me want to just go watch states. I'm always impressed by watching these top people.
Makes me just want to get off the couch.
Well, they do make me feel pretty pathetic right now. I saw a comedian say he saw a race and the Olympics, and he realized this person ran a lap around the track before he went and got a soda from his refrigerator and made it back to the couch. It's a good effort here happening. Oh, he got a little twisted on his landing here. Young man from Edgewood's coming on strong. Oh, he fell. Get up and get over the line. Oh, what a shame. That's a shame. He was running a good race, on pace for a PR.
Jeremiah Smith with a 2-second drop. That just shows how good of a time that was going to be. They were all seated right around 44 seconds. That our athlete Bubba Tolson with a near PR. And that goes to show how challenging this race can be. I know my dad joked about it earlier about winning the 290-meter hurdles, but that is the reality of this event. It can come down to the last second.
Well, I'm wondering if Bubba Tolson is the younger brother of another Tolson young man that ran for Sea Mountain Wright. He was definitely going to get a PR, Trav. Now let's see this young man. I mean, the other three young men in this race are very fast, but we have a runner here that's in a different league here. Look at the pace that he's running, the speed he's running, going over these hurdles.
This is incredible. Our athletes in Heat 4 are Elijah Bonneau from Harford Tech. We see Corey Reevy coming down the home stretch from Harford Tech, Rado Kwai from Edgewood, and Dominic Scott from Harford Tech.
He might break his time, Trav.
That is a special race that we just got to see.
You just witnessed something amazing. 37.6. I heard.
Enjoy your moment, Corey.
He just slid on the infield there, folks. His coach is coming over. I just heard somebody say, "Oh my goodness," as he was finishing.
Corey Reevy with an unofficial time of 37.6.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
I want to get his autograph right now in case he makes it really far, Travis.
Remember the name.
Oh my goodness, that was outstanding. And I don't think he slid because it went to the ground because he was tired. That's what's sickening about this. I think he can get up and run again right now, Travis. That's an unusually talented human being right there.
That's amazing. Congratulations to Corey and the Harford Tech track program.
Yeah, Coach Diamond does what I've said. He takes fast people and he puts them into the hurdles. He puts them into the jumps. I mean, that's a young man right there who could probably win the open races in the other distances. And here he is. I want to see what else he's in on our chart today. I mean, imagine him in a 200 or 400.
I definitely recognize the name from the 4x2 earlier. We'll see if he's in the Open 2 coming up.
So here we come, Travis, to one of your favorite races, the 800 run, right? Oh, nope, we're going to the 200 next. My bad. Now, you won't believe this. The young man I talked about, Terry Vale, he did the 300 hurdles and came back and did a 200 dash. And he still won too. So look and see if his name is in the 200 hurdles. I mean, 200 dash.
Oh, Corey?
Yeah.
Let me see. It doesn't look like Corey, but keep an eye out on his teammate, Jace Miller.
Okay. And was Corey in the 400? No? Wow, I thought he would have been in the 400 too with that speed. Maybe he's a jumper or something else. Did he win the 100 hurdles? He was in the 100 hurdles. He was our top seed in the 100 hurdles. So he does
I knew
both.
I recognized the
I
name.
bet I wouldn't be surprised if he's a long jumper or a triple jumper or something like that. Because that kind of a speed, he is the top seed in the long jump, Travis. So my intuition was right. So see, Travis, I do know some stuff once in a while. You don't like to admit it. There he is. Triple jump and long jump, top seed. That's talent right there. You're talking about a person that could get you 40 points in the meet. One individual.
That's amazing.
Half the teams won't score 40 points as a team. And this young man is slated to score 40 points in the meet. So I'd like to know some of those other jump results. And what do we got here in the first heat of the girls 200, Trav?
Coming up, we're lining up the girls 200-meter varsity race. In Heat 1, Lane 2, you'll see Tahira Fowler from Havre de Grace. Lane 3, Samaya Allen from Harford Tech. Lane 4, Clara Peterson from North Harford. Lane 5, Juliana Dialto from North Harford. And Lane 6, a familiar name, Maribela Sanchez from Harford Tech.
Mm-hmm. So this 200, did you run that once?
Not in a meet. We would do it as for
practice.
training and time trials.
So
never got a chance.
It's a long sprint. Some people run the curves better than other people, and there is a talent and technique to running the curve. They tell you, and I didn't say this before, but in the sprints, you don't want to see somebody's head bouncing around. You don't want to see their shoulders swaying from side to side. You don't want to see people bounding as they run. So it's hard to do. When they do close-ups in the Olympics of people's faces and upper body, and they're just perfect arm motion, head straight ahead, it's hard to not strain when you're running a distance race, a sprint like that. Distance also, I accidentally said distance, but you don't want your body form to break down. So yes, they're using blocks. You actually have a rare person who doesn't use blocks in a 200 or 400, but it really is beneficial to use the blocks if you can get yourself good at them. You see people that'll stand on the blocks for their teammate. And so while we're waiting for this, Travis, do we have any other results that are popping up?
Let me take a look.
Got some big wind gusts right now happening. Not the best wind conditions to do the pole vault. Okay, Coach Diamond looks like he's getting ready here, Travis. We'll let this races happen first, and then we'll see if we can get some more results eventually. Shot at the finish line here. And now we'll have the start. Let's take your marks. Boom. So in track and field, it's runners take your marks on the sprint. That's where they get ready and still. Then set, and you'll see them lift their bottoms up and then go, the gun. There's a good run happening on the outside lane here.
That's senior Maribela Sanchez again out of Harford Tech.
She didn't have a time coming in, but the clock says 34:1. I thought she was even faster than that, but that's a good time to run going into this wind.
The other interesting thing about the 200 and a lot of our events, is it starts on a curve.
Yeah.
And you obviously want to have the finish line, have a straightaway, but getting good momentum and having to turn right away is a challenge for a lot of these races.
Especially lane 1. Okay, who we got here, Trav?
Heat 2, girls 200 meter varsity. Leanna Cortez from Sea Mountain Right. Eliana Haynes from Sea Mountain Right in lane 3. Lane 4 is Tamia Thompson from Haverty Grace. Lane 5, Amina James from Haverty Grace. And lane 6, McKenna Tidwell from North Harford.
So now we're getting into seed times in the low 30s, all the way down to 28.54. Whether we'll see that with this wind, we won't know. Good starts. That's a little bit of the unfairness of this, because if you notice, the wind has picked up and slowed down.
Mm-hmm.
So were you running your heat when there was no wind? And was somebody else running their heat when there was a big gust or two?
Talk about a focused and straight face. We got lane 4, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Tamia Thompson is never breaking her technique. Her teammate on the outside, Amina James, looks like they're going to take it, but great races from the Haverty Grace girls there.
28:02 was our fastest time, which is a PR. Couple PRs there. Okay, we got one more heat, I think. This should be fast.
Heat 3, Shania Hill from Sea Mountain Right is in lane 2. In lane 3, Trinity Green from Edgewood. Lane 4, Madison Bob, Harford Tech. Lane 5, Nevaeh Hall from Edgewood. And lane 6, Aaliyah Webb from Edgewood.
Travis, every time in this heat is 26-something down to 25.44 for Madison Bob. That is incredible. For those who don't know, and we're still not to the end of the season, in all my years of coaching track and field, I've only had a handful of girls that got into the 26s, and rarely do you see a 25. So one more heat there, and then the boys are coming up. Then I think all we have left is the 800 and then the 2 relays. So we're nearing the end of the meet here, folks.
I'm going to give some quick updates following the final heat of the 200 relay. We have some of our field event results coming in that I can share.
Okay, after this heat, we'll do that. Or we may have to wait till the 800s to give us a little bit more time. These races happen so fast. Watch the starts here, folks. See who pushes out of the blocks first. May or may not be able to hear some loud fans near us. They're excited. Good job. Talk about still. Look at her head.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And she's a state championship level runner. And the young lady from Edgewood really gave her a good race.
Oh my gosh.
24.96.
Wow.
And Nevaeh also has a best time of 25.5. Nevaeh has never run in the 25s, at least this year. And then her teammate, then Madison runs a 24.
That's incredible.
That, along with our hurdler, were the 2 highlights to me so far in this meet draft.
Yeah, like I said before, Harford Tech just does an incredible job with their program. That's amazing.
So we have 2 highlights that we'll review later, but wow, these are amazing, amazing times. So now we have our first heat of the boys 200 coming up.
Lining up for the boys 200 Heat 1, Frank DeLucia from North Harford. Lane 3 is Chase Wiseman from North Harford. Lane 4 is Long Fan from Sea Mountain Wright. Lane 5, Ryan Irby from Havre de Grace. And lane 6, Braylon Gray from North Harford. Quickly, while these boys are getting set, we have some live results coming in from the girls' high jump. In 6th place, Ava Seeley from North Harford. Tied for 4th place is Malaya Robinson and Brooke Jeffers, both from Harford Tech. 3rd place, Logan Seeley, North Harford. 2nd place, Maya Haney, Sea Mountain Wright. And our current champion is Winter Evans from Harford Tech.
So let's see the finish we have here. Good battle. Sea Mountain Wright coming on the inside. Havre de Grace trying to fight him off. Excellent job. As a bald man, very jealous of the hair.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, you may know this pain one day, Travis. Hopefully not. 23.94 is very good. Long Fan, we saw him earlier. That's a very good first heat time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive. I'm excited to see what's coming.
Coming up in Heat 2, we have in lane 2, Shamari Whitmore, Harford Tech. Camden Neary, Harford Tech. Derek Ross, Havre de Grace. Mason Garris, Sea Mountain Wright. And Amri de Los Santos, Havre de Grace.
So that last time, Trav, by Long Fam may rival a lot of these times.
It should be interesting. I'm excited to see these boys push each other too, to some good times.
That's why you race the clock. You don't know how many people you can beat from the heat after you, so you have to race the clock. And I think, he's a senior, Long Fan, but like 3 of those racers in the last heat were sophomores.
Yeah.
So you want to.
That's the future right there.
Yep.
Of these programs.
So let's watch the start here again. I'm a big fan of the technique of things. So let's see who comes out of the blocks the best. Doesn't mean they'll win. So we had another mishap with the starting gun.
One thing you'll also notice from the starter is they raise their opposite hand. That's to signal the officials at the finish line. So the officials on each corner of the track signal each other to make sure that the technology is ready, that the lanes are cleared and safe before the athletes will start.
So Travis, you notice how there are magnet schools in the county for different things, and people go to one school for this and another school for that. Harford Technical is known for trades and other, but I'll tell you right now, Coach Diamond has produced a program where runners want to come to this school. They know they're going to be taught well. Good job. Inside lane, looks like they're making a move.
It's hard to tell on the curve.
Here we go. Wow.
This is going to be exciting.
It's one of the closest races we've had. See whose form holds out the best to the finish line.
Oh, my goodness.
I think we need a photo finish here. Wow.
That is too close to call.
It says that Camden won that.
Oh, my goodness.
1/100th of a second. 23:08 to a 23:09 for Camden over Mason. Wow.
What a race.
And that's not even the fastest heat yet. Here comes the nice shot at this. Let's see this lean. Good lean at the end there.
That was the difference.
Yeah. So now heat 3 is supposed to be even faster?
Our fastest heat of the men's 200-meter varsity. In lane 2, Jace Miller, Harford Tech. Lane 3, Kion Greenwood, Edgewood. Lane 4, Javian Minor, Edgewood. Lane 5, Landon Krebs, Sea Mountain Wright. Lane 6, Amir Shaw, Edgewood.
So we're talking about the difference between the top 3 seeds here is a 22-23, 22-34, and 22-37. We might see another one come down the lean here, Travis.
I hope so.
So one of the neatest things I ever got as a coach, and I gave it to some of my runners, was at states, and maybe they do it here and others, they have the tape that takes the pictures at the line. So it records the people coming across the line. And you can see the photo finishes. And one of my relays won a championship, and one of them finished second. And just to see the photo finish, that would have been a great one to have a picture of. Here we go here.
Straight away will tell us.
Yep. Landon, is that Landon for
Landon
Seamountain Right?
Krebs, Seamountain Right.
He's holding it. See if he can hold his form. He got it.
Whoa, that looked like it could be sub 22.
It says 22:05.
Wow.
22:08 there. That was outstanding. On a better weather day, Travis, he breaks 22, and that's outstanding. Look at him looking at the board, or his teammate looking at the board there, I'm sorry. Very nice. I'm looking forward to seeing this 4x100 relay. I mean, I'm guessing we're going to give the edge to Edgewood with the first 3 places in the 100, but we're going to see some good times. So why don't you give us some recaps while Coach Diamond's walking across the track on some other events.
As we're transitioning into the 800 meter, we have our results from the girls pole vault. In 6th place, we have Clara Peterson, North Harford. 5th place, Eliana Haynes, Sea Mountain Right. 4th place, Liliana Wydell, Harford Tech. 3rd place, Faith Andreen, Harford Tech. 2nd place, Ashley Picha, North Harford. And our champion is Peyton Leone from Harford Tech. Moving on to the boys pole vault. In 6th place, Connor Berth, Havre Grace. 5th place, Carter Laporte, Harford Tech. 4th place, Riley Skinner, Sea Mountain Right. 3rd place, Jacob Gestel, North Harford. 2nd place, Robert Bonoff, Harford Tech. And today's champion, Ben Silcox from Sea Mountain Right.
So have we received any of the long jump or triple jump results yet?
The long jump is currently live, but as it stands right now, for the girls long jump, in 6th place, Tahira Fowler, Havre Grace. 5th place, Sabrine Knox, Havre Grace. 4th place, Jamila Camacho, Harford Tech. 3rd place, Winter Evans, Harford Tech. 2nd place, Jalen Little, Edgewood. And in 1st place, Madison Morgan, Harford Tech.
So read us off the first girls heat in the 800 meter. This is a JV run. Who we have here?
Running currently is Mahala Hendrickson, freshman out of Edgewood. Eleanor Marchhauser from Sea Mountain Right. Tressa Will from Sea Mountain Right. Clara Colburn from Harford Tech. Marley Seaborn, Harford Tech. Chloe Manzari, North Harford. And Lacey McGraw, North Harford.
So are there any more field event results that we can knock off here, Trav, during this last series of longer events? I'd really, folks, I'm trying to, we can't see all the field events, but we still want to give shout outs to those athletes in the discus and pole vault, triple jump, long jump, high jump.
Unofficial results for the boys discus. In 6th place, Kyle Petz from Havre Grace. 5th place, Antonio Mercado, Harford Tech. 4th place, Jack Sable, Sea Mountain Right. 3rd place, Nair Williams, Edgewood. 2nd place, Zachary Mears, Edgewood. And in 1st place, Tyler Martin, Edgewood.
Do we have any high jump results? Are they still ongoing? We have the girls high jump, and we have the boys high jump, but they might still be competing.
Boys high jump results just came in. In 6th place, Geyer Kucic from Havre Grace. 5th place, Josiah Lawrence, Havre Grace. 4th place, Zion Dyson, Harford Tech. 3rd place, Jacob Weber, Harford Tech. 2nd place, Antonio Cisco, Edgewood. And in 1st place, our champion, Rodo Kwai from Edgewood.
Awesome. Now, the only thing I have that we don't have yet are boys triple jump, girls shot put, girls long jump, boys long jump. And I don't know if any of them have come up yet. From my experience, the last thing to finish is usually one of the triple jump events.
Long jump results are in. In 6th place for the girls, Tahira Fowler, Havre Grace. 5th place, Sabrine Knox, Havre Grace. 4th place, Jamila Camacho, Harford Tech. 3rd place, Winter Evans, Harford Tech. 2nd place, Jalen Little, Edgewood. And our champion is Madison Morgan from Harford Tech.
Awesome.
We're on the home stretch for our junior
let's see what
varsity
we have here.
girls 800 race.
Good race here. Let's see if we
Should
can
be
get
some
the-
good times.
Get the name here of across the line. Good job, girls. Looks like our leader. They give us those names. They are not showing up on the screen, so I'm wondering if the JV people are going to be showing up on the screen. So I remember when I coached the 800, Travis, we we had goals. For the girls, can you crack a 3:30? Can you crack a 3:15? Then can you break 3 minutes? Now that you broke 3 minutes, can you get under 2:50? You know, usually 10-second intervals. A big one in the girls was anybody getting under 2:40 was considered very good. Getting under 2:30, outstanding. There's only been a handful of athletes in this county that have gotten under 2:20 or in the teens or lower.
Lucky for us, we get to see one coming right up.
I know.
Lining up in just a minute, we have the girls 800-meter varsity race. Running in this race, we have Luna Musto from Sea Mountain Wright, Sophia Hedrington, Edgewood, Anna Knapp, Harford Tech, Victoria Klipner, Harford Tech, Madeline Coyle, North Harford, Anastasia Christie, Edgewood, Lillian Budelis, Sea Mountain Wright, Sophia Hodges, Sea Mountain Wright, Olivia O'Connor, Harford Tech, Eden Hussung, North Harford, Kendall Chandler, North Harford, and our top seed, a name we've heard a bunch today, is Brielle Whitworth from Edgewood with a seed time of 2:16.98.
That's amazing.
Faster than I ran ever.
So I want to say that the 12 people in this race, Travis, can be a little bit intimidating for a fast heat. You have girls of varying speeds. The downfall of that is the start. You're not going to lap somebody in an 800, but you don't want, you talked about starting at the curve. So you don't want to tangle up feet. So there's two schools of thought. If you're in row 2 or on the outside, don't go out real aggressive. Just cut over towards the curve. Settle in behind the pack. Wait till you get on a straightaway, then start passing people so you don't have any danger of falling. For somebody like Brielle, she's probably going to take off.
Yeah.
She doesn't want any chance of anybody tying her feet up. And I would say the same thing for Kendall, Eden, Olivia, so forth. I would definitely get off that line because you can cut in right away. And I would just, if Brielle moves out there quickly, like I expect, then I would think Kendall would slot right in behind her in lane 1 and so forth, because you don't want anybody tangling up.
Now, as the girls are lining up for the 800, we do also have the boys' long jump results in.
Okay, good.
In 6th place, Roto Kwai from Edgewood. 5th place, Nio Matthews from Edgewood. 4th place, Xavier High from Havre de Grace. 3rd place, Ben Silcox, Sea Mountain Wright. 2nd place, Evan Goss, Sea Mountain Wright. And a familiar name at the top. And it says here, the number 8 height, or the number 8 distance in Maryland. Our champion today, Corey Reevy, Harford Tech.
What was his jump?
22.7.
I told you I wanted to see that 22. If anybody can get to that, that's amazing. Okay, we had a false start here.
I believe it was actually what we explained. It looks like people kind of jumbled up at the beginning. So sometimes if that happens and the athletes almost not crash into each other, but it becomes dangerous for them, that they won't, that they'll restart the race so everybody can get out safely.
Well, I got to commend Coach Diamond for doing that. He didn't want somebody, it's probably happened to you, it's happened to everybody. Somebody else messes up your race. We've seen it at the highest level, even this last summer. How much did we enjoy the Olympics? And we saw some people tangle up and lose that were favorites. So it's definitely something that you have to watch out for. Now, they'll take a couple steps, and then boom. Now, he did a clap device there that he just closed up to make the noise instead of doing the gun. I hadn't seen that before, Travis.
Now,
She did
right
what we
here,
said.
I was just going to say, Brielle is doing the exact strategy we talked about. And my guess is those two behind are, yep, the North Harford girls, Kendall and Eden, pushing themselves for that lead.
Well, look at her go after him. I mean, Kendall or Eden, whoever that is, did a little sprint from the end of the curve to try to get up on Brielle's back. That could help her or hurt her. The pace Brielle's going to run is just off the charts good. So do you do that to get away from everybody else? Maybe you do. So I think the only results that we have not said in the field events are probably the 2 triple jump events and maybe the girls shot put.
I have the triple jump. The girls triple jump in 6th place, Olivia Pettiford, Sea Mountain Right. 5th place, Juliana Dialto, Harford Tech. 4th place, Logan Seeley, North Harford. Juliana is from North Harford. Logan Seeley, North Harford. 3rd place, Grace McGovern, North Harford. 2nd place, Jalen Little, Edgewood. And our champion for today is Saletta Tate from Edgewood.
So Brielle is taking it out there, but I am very impressed by our second runner. She's really pushing her pace. We'll see who that is when we finish and see if she gets near a PR. Travis, they look like they're sprinting down the backstretch.
That's what I always think. Whenever I remember my freshman year doing my first 800, I was very proud to be under 3 minutes as a threshold. Slowly got faster and faster until we ran against Bel Air. And I cannot remember his name, but the athlete you mentioned earlier genuinely sprinted the entire 800, broke 2 minutes, and it's just a sight to see. And that's what we're seeing right now at Brielle.
Yep.
Is that steady stride is incredible.
So I want to see if our number 2 finisher gets a PR or not.
It's gonna be real close.
So North Harford went 2-3. And it was Kendall Chandler with a 2:27, matching her time. Wow, some good times here.
Really good times.
So I'm hoping for a really good weather day for the UCBACs next week. I may find out as a fan where they are, and I may go watch. So Jerry's going down to congratulate his runners, and you will have a JV boys race coming up next.
Let's check it out.
And then we have a varsity race, and then we're down to our 2 relays, and we're done.
Coming up next is the boys 800-meter junior varsity. Hayden Stepp, Sea Mountain Right. Carter Bain, Havre de Grace. Josiah Pettigen, Havre de Grace. Jack Gutman, Sea Mountain Right. Riley Panabaker, North Harford. Aluwatsaman Adeji, Edgewood. Emmanuel Fawau, Edgewood. Noah Hussung, North Harford. Jonathan Sedlak, Harford Tech. And Chase Garcia, Harford Tech.
So we have a large boys varsity after that, Travis, of 15 people. So you will see a little bit of the infield. You see the relays getting ready, and they're practicing their handoffs. Handoffs are everything. You thought they were important in a 4x200. They're everything in a 4x100. So let's watch this cut in here. You see the curved line in front of the straight line. The outside lanes are allowed to step to there on set. And then, boom, they go. So we got our leader going out here. Probably looks like a Harford Tech or a Sea Mountain Right. I think it's a Harford Tech. Yep.
Chase Garcia is a a name we've heard throughout this meet today, competing in a variety of events, if I remember correctly. I believe I saw him in the 300-meter hurdles. I could be wrong, but just goes to show how versatile some of these athletes are. We also have a lot of underclassmen in this event, which is always an amazing thing to see. Riley Panabaker, freshman, Josiah Pettigen, Carter Bain, is also son of Coach Ryan Bain for Havre Grace, and Hayden Stepp. It's good to see some freshmen trying out the middle distance events and maybe trying something new.
Yes. Well, I said it before, you had to find your niche. And a lot of people come into high school track and field feeling like I won the races at field day in elementary school. And Travis, being an elementary school phys ed teacher who has his field day coming up this week. But you know what? You get to a sport like track and field and you realize there are other fast people at my school.
Yep.
And there are other fast people in this county. I never remembered a tag game in my life where I got caught. But guess what? When I got to my high school track team, I was like, okay, I'm now running with the state champion, Matt Collins. I feel slow. And just making a 4x100 relay team was an achievement. But you saw all these people around the county that's what they were. They were fast. And so what if you're not good enough in the 100 or 200? But you know what? I have a good combination of speed and distance. Let me try out this 800. Let me see how I do. So the leader is holding the lead, coming in here.
A good race for second coming down the
Wow,
stretch.
what a good JV time. Jeez.
2:13.
Yes. I'd be very happy with that.
And that goes to talk about the depth of a team before. Harford Tech with 2 JV runners running a 2:12 and a 2:14.
Yes.
Just because they're their team's
4 or
5 runner. That's incredible.
And what we don't know is Jaden might have been the 5th guy before, and now he's the 4th. He might have been the 6th guy 2 weeks ago, and now he's the 3rd or 4th. So doing this, he's running himself into A relay opportunities. And on a team like Harford Tech, that's a big deal because this is a team that's going for state championships. And Travis has a long list to read here, so let me let him get started on the boys varsity.
Coming up in the boys 800-meter varsity, Jonah Buckelman, Havre Grace. Eric Coombe, Havre Grace. Zach Griffin, Sea Mountain Wright. Reese Conklin, North Harford. Tyler Lamont, North Harford. Robert Davis, Havre Grace. Jamal Edmonds, Edgewood. Charlie Kitts, Sea Mountain Wright. Martin Bender, Harford Tech. Justin Collins, North Harford. Michael Besser, Harford Tech. Nathan Bennett, Edgewood. Fabian Larond, Sea Mountain Wright. Anthony Manzo, Harford Tech. And our top seed, Darian Walters, with a 2:01 from Edgewood.
While I have a chance here, let me do a shout out again to our crew and cameramen and producers and everyone else. Do a great job here with the filming. This is one of the harder things, and we just added this 2 years ago to video. I always joke that I can't take a picture of Travis and my daughter and wife without cutting heads off or getting everybody in the frame. So thank you to the crew. Good job on all the action and getting us some of the field event shots today as well.
Now
Wow.
This Darian Walters is a name that we've talked about a lot today. Going out in the first lap at a minute flat. I'm sure his goal today or this season is to break 2 minutes with that 2:01 time. But Darian, we saw, was an amazing anchor in the 4x8. I remember earlier, I'm not sure the distance it was, but I know he won another event earlier today. So that's amazing.
I was trying to remember the runner from Bel Air, and it was really outstanding when Travis ran. I think his name was Kieran.
Kieran McDermott. You're absolutely right. Yep.
So, yeah, you're not supposed to beat people by 70 yards in 800. And Kieran did that to everybody. And this young man right now is challenging that kind of a lead because he's that special. And he's not going to break the 2 minute, I don't think. But Still an outstanding race on a windy day. Good job.
Check out Havity Grace coming behind.
Look at the finishes here on 3, 4, 5, 6. Very tight. Good efforts coming down to the end.
Our second place runner is Jonah Buckelman, who was seeded 15th in this race with no time. In his first attempt, potentially, of the 800 in the season.
Right.
Jonah just ran a 2:05 and finished second place at a championship meet.
Yeah, he's had quite a day. He's really got a future. That's neat to have that scoreboard like that, Travis. These guys could be like the Olympics. They can go pose next to it and take a picture.
Yeah, Darian, turn around. This is your moment.
That's something you would have done, Travis, taking a picture at the scoreboard. He wants to come back to the first place time again. Now, this is how great athletes are, Travis. 2:03, and he's disappointed.
I was going to say, he's probably a little frustrated.
Yes.
But that is incredible. Or maybe that was his goal. You know, Coach Jerry is amazing at teaching teaching his athletes different goals for different races.
Right.
Darian was seeded to win this race by a few seconds. So maybe, hey, save it for what's to come.
So are there 1 or 2 heats of this girls relay? Because they only have, you know what they did here? They did a JV race and a varsity race. Okay.
Oh,
awesome.
That's exciting.
I like that.
Now, the 4x1 is arguably the most exciting race of the day.
Yes.
There is a reason they put it right at the end. Today, competing in the girls 4x1 relay for the junior varsity, we have North Harford with a team of Clementine Ferguson, Riley Allen, Bella Rakestraw, and Ava Seeley. For Harford Tech, Janelle Reyes, Brooke Jeffers, Liliana Wydell, and Zoe Sanders. And for Sea Mountain Wright, Caitlin Reimer, Eliana Haynes, Natasha Sullivan, and Chloe Giles.
So I talked before about the importance of handoffs. Now, as we go around, you'll see different judges at different exchange zones. And their job is to make sure that the people receive the baton within the exchange zone and nobody goes outside their lane. Coach Diamond is the official, so, you know, he can get involved with the fouls and other as well. So you talked about the curves, Travis, and running on them. So I can hear him from here. Coach Diamond is yelling out, I need some volunteers. Come on, let's go. And he's looking for the coaches to get off their rear ends in the stands and come out here and help out. And this is a very well-run meet, by the way, Travis. The field events are finishing the same time as the running events. I mean, I have been long at championship meets where you're literally an hour after the running events, the field events are still going on.
Yeah, it's definitely, track is not, ironically, a quick sport when it comes to the meets, especially the championship meets where you have 5+ teams competing, multiple heats of the events. Harford Tech has done an excellent job of running this meet today.
Do you have any more results for us? Any score updates?
Yes, let me check the scores. All right, team scores for boys. In third place, Sea Mountain Wright with 61 points. In second place, Harford Tech with 91 points. And in first place, Edgewood High School with 103 points.
Now that was after that's after 15 of 18 events.
Mm-hmm. Through the,
15th of 18 for the girls.
Through the 200, that is.
Oh, okay.
For the men's.
So they must have all the field events in there then. Okay.
Yes, field events are scored. The girls in third place.
I meant they must be done. Yeah.
Sea Mountain Wright in third place, 42 points. Edgewood in second place with 66 points. And Harford Technical High School in first place with 172 points.
So we kind of predicted that Harford Tech girls would get it running away. But we got a battle going for the boys. And it's going to come down to these last two relays. So if that was through 15 events and Edgewood won, didn't the Edgewood boy win
Yeah.
the 800? And I don't know what 2 through 6 was. I would expect the Edgewood boys to win the 4x1. 4x4 might be a different story. So this could come down to this. So far we have clean exchanges, white flags up at both exchange zones.
Now, to your point, back to the team score, if I remember, I think that runner that we just saw, Darian Walters, I've seen him in the 800, and it must have been the 400.
Mm-hmm.
The open 8, the open 4, the 4x8. So he might be saved for the 4x4 coming up.
Travis, I know you know a lot about track and field, but you know I have all this years. A 54.28 victory in the girls JV 4x1 shows their depth. That is an amazing time. That varsity teams would like to have that time.
That's
and
incredible.
that's their 5th through 8th fastest girls. If it's their 5th through 8th, they might not all be in it.
Yeah.
Because they might be out doing other events. So that is amazing. I mean, right now, that would be the 3rd seeded time in the girls' varsity race.
Yep. Now let's find out these teams. In lane 2, North Harford, McKenna Tidwell, Clara Peterson, Madeline Smick, Juliana Dalto. Sea Mountain Right in lane 3, Leanna Cortez, Maya Haney, Daniela Florin Garcia, Sarah Saunders. Lane 4, Harford Tech, Madison Morgan, Madison Bob, Destiny Baker, and Winter Evans. Lane 5, Edgewood, Trinity Green, Sky Harris, Ajaya Webb, Nevaeh Hall. And in lane 6, Haverty Grace, Tahira Fowler, Tamia Thompson, Amina James, and Sabrina Knox. Now, all 4 of those names from Harford Tech, Madison Morgan, Madison Bob, Destiny Baker, Winter Evans, are individual event winners from this race. Now we're going to get to see them put on display as a team of 4 representing the Harford Tech Cobras.
So these are my favorite points of a meet. I think I have like 20 favorites, Trav. But the thing is, the 4x1 is the pure speed. The 4x4 is pure speed endurance and depth on your team. So right away, we got Harford Tech breaking out to a lead. A very impressive handoff. Very nice handoffs by Edgewood as well. So Harford Tech is so fast, Travis, but it's hard to keep the other teams in the screen. Another good handoff, yes. Slight delay there, but they'll clean that up before states. And then coming down the lead with a 25-meter lead. And let's see what kind of time they get here, Travis. Should break 50 easily. 47.91. That is outstanding.
Oh, my goodness.
That's every girl averaging a 12-second or below 100 dash.
That's amazing. That's their season PR. Coming into the day, they had a 48.54.
I mean, Edgewood had a 50 flat there. That's impressive, too.
Those teammates deserve that celebration. Congrats, Harford Tech.
I'm thinking a state championship for that group. And I know they're not a 4A school. I don't think they're a 3A. I think they're 1A, 2A. There's so much talent at this meet today, Travis. I mean, so now we have our boys 4x100 JV. And let me give Travis a break on this one. You have from Haverty Grace in lane 1, Gavin Johnson, Dresden Chen, Joseph Gonzalez, and Ryden Graham. Sea Mountain Right, you have Andrew Tuff, you have Kalik Brutus, you have Gavin Bogg, you have Austin Nugeri. Harford Tech, you have Sean Holmes, Lloyd Taylor, Lucas Chess, James McVicker, and then from North Harford, you have Ian Lamont, Christopher Ort, Brandon Barl, and Mason Smick. Now, one thing you'll notice in some of these relay races, Travis, is every team didn't enter a team. And that happens sometimes based on numbers and other. So I didn't get to see those times on the varsity girls, but I will go down on record as saying I know that the Harford Tech JV squad would have finished third in that. That's how deep they are.
You're right.
And that's not a diss to the other teams, because another team might be able to do that in a 4x800 if they had a JV race or something else. But that is some depth. Quite a lead there, and they dropped the baton. So that was the thing. That's a shame. They had a good lead going there, too. Who was that? Was that
It was Harford Tech, unfortunately.
Yeah. So let's see here. See Milton coming down here with the lead and the victory.
One thing I will say to make those athletes feel better, it happens to every team, every meet.
Definitely.
Multiple times a season sometimes. And when you're running and the pressure of holding on to that baton, it makes it 10 times harder than it should be.
I did the worst thing of all, anchoring a relay at a large invitational meet with like 4 states. Coach Bishop let me anchor it, 4x2 that we eventually won state championship in. And going around the last turn, I slipped on the wet spot on the track.
Ooh.
And lost the lead. And you know what my teammates did? They laughed with me, and they came and picked me up and said, don't worry about it. And that's what you need your teammates to do. We've all been there. Drop a ball in football.
Not me.
Yeah, I coached them, folks. I could leave. I can list them right now, but I will be kind.
I don't usually make mistakes.
Hey, I've made soccer goals with extreme angles, and I missed the easiest shots in the world. And that's what people do. That's what athletes do. I mean, think about these field events, Travis. Something like the high jump. You have one step off your approach, and you miss a height that you've made 50 times.
Yep.
You know?
The pole vault. I mean, the perfection that you need for that to come in with the speed, place it in the exact spot that you need, and carry your momentum up and over.
Yep.
I tried it one time, and that was enough for me to put the pole down.
Okay, so now we have the boys varsity race. And we got people standing on the blocks for their teammates.
All right, now we're lining up the boys 4x1 varsity. In lane 2, North Harford, Chase Wiseman, Kyle Sims, Braylon Gray, Jack Hamilton. Lane 3, Harford Tech, Dwayne Roper, Corey Reevy, Karan Evans, Shamari Whitmore. Lane 4, Malachi Robinson, Amir Shaw, Javian Miner, Kion Greenwood. Lane 5, Evan Goss, Bubba Tolson, Landon Krebs, Mason Garris. Lane 6, Haverty Grace, Derek Ross, Aim Ride to Los Santos, and Gavin Bannock.
So look at this race here, Trav. What a good handoff by C. Milton Wright. You got Harford Tech coming on the inside. Edgewood is not winning this race at this point. Handoffs matter. 2 good handoffs. Is this Landon anchoring? Pulling up. Here comes Edgewood. Here comes Edgewood. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
I got to see the results on this. C. Milton Wright 43.74, Edgewood 43.89, Harford Tech 43.90. So what an anchor. Can you tell me who the varsity anchor was for Edgewood, Travis?
Edgewood anchor is Kion Greenwood.
He made up 15 yards to get second. That was outstanding. C. Milton Wright, great anchor by Landon, and great depth on their team. Was it is it Mason or Landon who was that?
It looked like Mason was
Oh,
the
I think
anchor
Landon was the third leg. Yes. So outstanding relay. We told you why that one's the one of the money events for the Olympics, and highlights of it. You know, I won't name it, but I saw one handoff at each stage that was better and worse in each team. and the leads changed because of it. That's why handoffs matter. The old saying, it's how fast you get around the track. The baton gets around the track. So the handoffs need to be clean.
Coming up in our next event, we're going to prepare for the girls 4x4 relay. In lane 3, North Harford with Claire Keenan, Allison Knott, Madeline Smick, and Elena Ramirez. Lane 4, Harford Tech is represented by Olivia O'Connor, Sunny Wilson, Tegan Moore, and Christina Venegas. In lane 5, Edgewood, Zainab Adaramilan, Trinity Green, Ajaya Webb, and Jamira Perry. Lane 6, Lillian Bedelis, Sophia Hodges, Kara Palmer, and Cameron Loper. This relay, the 4x4, the athletes will be racing a full lap, handing the baton to the next person. As you could see, the athletes were on a staggered start to avoid any jostling or bumping into in the beginning. Now, I believe how they usually do it is similar to the 4x8, where after the first leg, all the athletes can receive the baton in lane 1. You might see the runners on this lap close in on the turn, or it's at the handoff. Typically, it's different in each meet.
Yeah, I did this event, Travis. I bounced between the A and the B team for this. Did not make the A team when we had people that it was a big meet because my team was loaded. I was the 5th fastest. Tough event, but as you knew, most people ran their PRs in the relay because you want to win and do well for your team. So good job by C. Milton Wright cutting in lane 1. They have a lead of about 15 to 20 meters. You know this from experience. This is an event that the C. Milton Wright girls have a history of being good at.
Definitely. I do remember I shared an anecdote earlier of my anchoring the 4x4. The race right before when the girls ran. I'm not sure the team, but had about an 80-yard lead over our anchor. She was a senior year above me. Her name is Jess Rogers. And in the last 400 meters, caught up all 800 yards, or 800, all 80 yards, and passed the other team at the finish line. So no matter how much the lead is, you never know what the other team's got coming up. C. Mountain Wright does have a good history of it, but don't count out the other teams just yet.
So this is our last girls event of the day, and then we have one more boys event, the 4x4 relay, and we'll be wrapping up the meet for you folks. But Travis, while we're getting ready to be done here, any names stand out to you today? Obviously, Brielle and Destiny for the girls.
Definitely. We've talked about him a bunch tonight, but Corey Reevy out of Harford Tech with potentially a record-breaking hurdles time. Also, the top 8 finish in the state, current state rankings in the long jump. Just an amazing performance today from senior Corey Reevy out of Harford Tech.
I think he has 4 golds today.
I believe so.
Yes. Then we have Madison Bob, was outstanding in the sprint events. We have Darian Walters in the 800. We have Alex Curry in the sprints and hurdles and the throws. I know we're missing a few other names here from Edgewood. There was a young lady from Edgewood that was outstanding in the
Brielle.
Brielle.
Yeah.
Brielle did an outstanding job in her events. I mean, going back through some of the events of the running events, definitely so much talent here. I mean, I'm really dying to know what's coming out of the other meets. So our another one is Winter Evans, and from Harford Tech, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
We're looking through some results here, folks. We're doing the best we can on.
Another notable name is Malachi Robinson, freshman out of Edgewood, seeded top 2 in all of his events today. Seen in 2 relays representing their team. Just an amazing performance and a great future for the Edgewood program with so many underclassmen.
Here comes C. Milton Wright Travis with the victory. Good job, C. Milton Wright girls. Good way to end the meet. Harford Tech coming in second. And we're trying to see if there's any other names that stood out, but I think we got a good amount of them. Just shout out to all the coaches, Travis, that help all these athletes. What a good day. What a good efforts. They're all proud for different reasons, for different athletes.
And thank you always to the families of these athletes to encourage them to participate in these sports. The stands were packed today. I'm looking out right now. I see a lot of faces I recognize of parents supporting their athletes, getting off work and rushing right over to see their students compete. It really means the world to the teachers, to the coaches, and really the whole school community to build that support.
Okay, all we have left here now, folks, is the 4x400 boys.
Our final event that should be lining up shortly is the boys 4x400 meter relay. In lane 2, C. Milton Wright is represented by Evan Riley, Evan Skinner, Thomas Walsh, and William Richardson. In lane 3, from Havre de Grace, Connor Berth, Robert Davis, Landon Priest, and Jonah Buckelman. Lane 4, Harford Tech, Elijah Bonneau, Jace Miller, Camden Neary, and Ryder Herman. Lane 5, Kwasi and Ponsum. From Edgewood, Javian Miner, Malachi Robinson, Rodo Kwai. And lane 6, North Harford, is Jack Hamilton, Braylon Gray, Kyle Sims, and Logan Birchfield.
So this event may dictate the boys champion. We already know the girls champion is going to be Harford Tech. When I finish this race and I wrap up, I'll have Travis check the boys standings right one more time to see who our boys champion is. And kind of a neat thing, this will be the first ever team champions declared for the Hatem Track and Field Championships.
I'm not sure we're going to know a winner right now. Currently, the team scores for the boys. In third place, C. Milton Wright with 69 points. In second place, Harford Tech with 97 points. And in first place, Edgewood with 103 points. There's a 6-point difference, and that is through
16.
event 16.
So I will tell you that Harford Tech got third in that last relay, and Edgewood got second. So that would be a 2-point lead more. So Edgewood has to finish no worse than second or third place here to hold their title. We've seen this kind of dramatic finish in swim championships, and it's really fun. So I guarantee you, Jerry knows that. And he's already talked to these 4 young men, and he has said, make sure we finish in the top 3, guys.
And don't drop the baton.
Yes. Now, looks like the Edgewood runner was tying up a little bit there, but he's getting it back together. And here are those 2 teams, 1-2, Trev. As far as I'm concerned, I think that that's all that needs to happen, is that Edgewood doesn't finish more than 2 spots behind Harford Tech in this relay to win the team championship. But the Harford Tech young men are also thinking, I just want to win this relay.
Yeah.
Yep. He's just trying to stay in fighting distance there. So right now I will say congratulations to the Harford Tech girls for the obvious team championship. And good luck to all these young ladies for the upcoming UCBACs and other. I think we see a lot of potential for these big meets coming up, Travis.
No doubt. I mean, the list could have gone on with all the names we shouted out today. So many amazing athletes from all of our schools. Thank you to the teams, the coaches, and always the athletes for just a great day today.
All 5 of these teams have some tremendous athletes and really high placers. So I think that all 5 of these teams should fare well in the UCBAC championships. I know you're adding 10 more schools to it, but from my experience with track and field, I think we see a lot of people here that'll do well there, as in their regionals. Now, I will tell you, Travis, regionals can be tough from one region to the next. You can be lucky enough to be in an easy region, or you can be in an easy region. Exchanges are good. Let's see if the young man from Edgewood tucks in on his back on the turn here, which he should. You talked about whipping off the turn to try to pass somebody. Is this our 400 champion? Wasn't our 400 male champion on Edgewood?
Take a look.
I think it was, but he might not be in this relay.
400 was Landon Krebs out of Sea Mountain Right.
Oh, am I wrong? My bad. So here's the thing.
But we did just get to see a Quasi Amundsen, the top finisher that's in this race.
He's trying to come off the turn.
Wow.
It's a fight here. It's a fight here. He saved it for the end. He's got teammates running down the infield with him. Technically, you're not supposed to do that. The coach will tell him.
What a finish.
That was a great way to wrap this meet up, folks. Harvard Grace coming in for a good 3rd place finish here. We got a battle for 4th and 5th between Sea Mountain Right and North Harford.
I can't tell. We'll see the clock on that one.
Well,
who's gonna pop up?
I'm gonna say, based on what we saw in results in the last 2 races, that I'm pretty sure that Edgewood is the boys champion with Harford Tech runner-up, Sea Mountain Right 3rd. Great job. Congratulations, Jerry Henderson. And I also want to say congrats to Harford Tech. For the other, Travis, any last thoughts before we leave?
Just a pleasure being here. Good to see these athletes, and great day.
I hope you enjoyed this high school showcase event on HarfordTV. Stay tuned to our next telecast. Thank you very much.